And we're live. I'll do it for JPO.
Thank you. Yes. As you can tell, JPO is not here, but the rest of us are. So we are still lonely and Marks, although none of us are named Mark. We'll have to find a
Yeah,
Mark to be on the show
Is
sometime.
there a
fun
Mark in
Mark.
any of these main events? I
There,
mean, Mark Calloway technically for Undertaker, maybe.
Mark Calloway,
yeah,
yeah.
Is that the closest? Yeah, is that the
I think
closest we
that's the
got?
closest.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are here once again. We haven't been talking about WrestleMania yet, so I figured with 9 days to go, it might be a good time. So we decided to do a tier list of the main events of WrestleMania. So we have 41 matches to talk about tonight. Um, some definitely better than others. Some we might just breeze right on through.
Oh yeah. There's
Before we
definitely
get
some in that
there,
category.
I am joined by Austin and Richie, and maybe eventually Jordan will be here. You know how it is; life happens. But Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, going pretty well, man. Yeah, be interesting to relive these WrestleMania main events because, as we've sort of discussed off air, a lot of the time, the mid card kind of steals the show, beyond beyond a few exceptions, but yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, and be fun to talk about.
And Austin is here as well. Austin, how you doing?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm in the same vein. It's like, and some of these you got to put into context of the time period, they were in, as to how good they were, because some of them maybe not the greatest work rate wise, but if they were a good spectacle, a good actual show, I'll take that to effect of some of my things. Yeah, what's up, Jonathan? Certainly is WrestleMania season. We're almost there, but yeah, we're gonna tier rank these lists, and yeah, as Mitchie said, sometimes there's a mid card match that ends up is the one that everybody remembers from the show, not necessarily the main event. Our best example that we've talked about several times is WrestleMania 18, where everybody remembers Rock and Hogan, and nobody remembers that Triple H Chris Jericho was the actual main event. So there you go.
Which I mean, it's a match featuring Chris Jericho. You think people would remember it more?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hindsight's 2020, but maybe Rock Hogan should have been the final match on the show. Let's
Yeah,
just put it that way. So,
yeah. Because they've showed before that the title doesn't always need to be the
mm.
main event.
Well,
As
even
we'll
the
see with some
men's
of the
title or whatever, we've had a women's match close the
yeah.
show. I mean, you don't have to stick to, oh, this is the title match, so it is. You can go with the most hyped match or whatever. I mean, a few of these matches later on, I think some of the Roxina stuff wasn't the title, but it was the final match. So,
Yeah.
they've shown that you don't have to do that. So, yeah, look at your card, look at the hype, listen to the crowd, act accordingly.
Yeah. If the Usos and Sami Zayn and KO don't main event night one, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah, I
not.
don't think
Not even been
from,
online.
from reports, I don't think they are. I think it's going to be Rhea Ripley and Charlotte.
I mean, if Rhea wins, yes, please.
Even then, I think
It's
you
just like
still highlight Sammy and Kevin. Again, they don't have to be the main event of night two, but night one, that'd be a good main event,
Yeah,
crowd
yeah,
wise, especially if you know what's going to happen. Yeah.
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 I mean, you're not gonna get a bigger pop than when KO and Sammy win the tag team titles.
You could if Sammy was winning the world title,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
that's also true.
that's another subject for another topic. But yeah, we'll breeze through some of these. We got the tier ranker list, but like you said, some of these are not worth spending more than a minute or two on, honestly. So we'll do what we got to do. So.
Yeah, so we got them here. Like I said, 41 to talk about. Got them in order from 1 to
Yeah.
38. So we start off at number 1. We have Hulk Hogan and Mr. T with Jimmy Snuka in their corner, taking on the team of Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper with Cowboy Bob Orton in their corner. Let me go back to the StreamYard scene. And Richie, you're at the bottom, so why don't you kick us off?
Yeah. I guess this is. You could probably give it special considerations as the first main event. I'm like, yeah, sort of, obviously work rate wise, there's better ones up there, but there is, it is special, especially getting Mr. T in there, who was a big TV star at the time. Yeah, I've seen this match a couple of times. It's not like, not fantastic, but I think we could have to give it some special consideration considering, of how successful it was. So I don't know. I'd probably, I don't know. I'm leaning towards like a B or maybe a low A.
I'll drop it there for now. Austin, what do you think about?
I'm in. Yeah, I'm in like B plus territory. I think for the time, again, yeah, there's not much total work rate going on, but for what it is, WrestleMania, especially the original one, was about kind of the big, celebrity appearances and the crossovers and spectacle, and it was about getting your top guys in there. I see with this one, it's a little overstuffed with all the guys in the corners and on the outside, and wasn't Muhammad Ali in there somewhere? Like
he was the
yeah. I mean, it was more about the personalities, but it was also just about getting eyes on the product, which is fine. So again, I think everybody played the role well. If you're looking for some kind of 5-star classic, you're not going to get it here. But again, a lot of these early ones were about spectacle, and I think this one had it. So I'll give it like a good B plus. I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at too. I did rewatch this one recently, and the only thing that stops it from being that A for me is all like the outside interference, and not from Orton or Snuka, but from Muhammad Ali himself. Like, how many times do you have to get in the ring when you're the outside ring enforcer to try and stop these guys? And the referee's turning his back so often. I'm like, just stay out of the ring, like walk around, maybe pull him down or something. But I think he got in the ring like 4 or 5 times, and the match is only 13 minutes.
Like enough already. Yeah.
Like, stay out. So, like, but I think everyone involved did their job, and like you said, it was about spectacle. I think the first WrestleMania was like just over 2 hours. It's not the 2-night, 4-hour each spectacle that we know it is now. But yeah, back then it was all about getting eyes on the product, getting celebrity involvement, as you'll see through probably I think like the first 10 or so. There was a lot of celebrity involvement. I mean, there still is some now, but not to the level it was then. I know I'm in agreement with B. I think that's a good place to start. Austin, we'll go to you first for Bundy and Hogan.
Bundy and Hogan in the cage. Yeah, the infamous 3 different location WrestleManias. As far as this match goes, it's literally just a Hogan match in a cage. They don't really use the cage that much. They don't do a lot with it. It's just they get in there. Hogan showboats for a second. Bundy takes over, puts some heat on him, pulls his rib tape off. Hogan hulks up, beats Bundy. You know what I mean? Like it's 10 minutes. It's not over long. I'll give it that. Like it doesn't really drag. But there's nothing really special about it. It didn't really. I don't think it needed to even be in a cage. The cage is just kind of there to kind of separate everything from everything else. So it's a Hogan match. If you're into that, that's fine. But even spectacle wise, I don't think there's a lot about it. I'm gonna give it a D.
D.
Yeah, D.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I think you said it perfectly. A Hogan match in a cage. I think this was the one where Elvira was on commentary, and Elvira and Jesse Ventura kept talking over each other, and it's like I almost wanted to watch the match on mute.
Elvira's used to just giving like commentary over a movie, so she doesn't know how to shut the hell up and like let the wrestling people do her job. Yeah.
But this isn't the main event I'm gonna go back to probably unless I had to. Which if I ever have to subject myself to bad matches, I don't know what I'm doing. Richie, what do you think?
We need, at some point we need to review King of the Ring '94, by the way, because that was the infamous one where they had was it Art Donovan on commentary, and he was just like, how much does this guy weigh? And just annoying the shit out of Gorilla and Macho Man Randy Savage. It's glorious. It's funny as hell. Anyway, but yeah, this one, it's not that memorable. It's I did appreciate King Kong Bundy as a monster heel. It's very surprising if you look at people who aren't in the Hall of Fame, he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. That's crazy. this match was it is what it is. It was product of its time. It's a Hulk Hogan match in a cage. It's not, they don't do anything special with the concept. It really have to be in a cage, really. I don't know. I guess it was kind of a new concept at the time, but yeah, they could have done more with it. I'm happy with it being MD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching the show, and it's not like today where the cage just lowers from the ceiling. They actually had to bring each side out. They had to carry like 6 or
We
7
had
guys.
to, the one cage match we had at the one Jacksonville show we did, we had the old school style where we had to put up the 4 parts and connect them.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of cage. Obviously, we didn't have, like, we were in an armory. We're not in an arena where we can lower one down. So we had to take like an intermission for 15 minutes to like put the cage up. You know what I mean? Because cage matches on the independent scene are hard to do. You have to do it like that. So, and you don't do it very often. So,
yeah. I would like to see them bring back this. I don't know if they've done it before, but like they always do like the, retro Raws or whatever, the Raws, old school Raws. I'd like to see them bring back the blue cage for an old school Raw or something. I think it'd be cool. They bring back like the old guardrails and everything. So
yeah. Why not?
WrestleMania 3, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan. I think it's more remembered for the moment than the match. So I'm here as well. I think without the, Hogan slamming Andre, which, due to WWF history rules, was the first time, I'm pretty sure, even though it wasn't actually the first time. But they can make up their own rules. But other than that, like, I don't really remember much about this match. It's like the Bundy match. I'm not going to go back to it where, WrestleMania 1, I would go back to that just to, see where it all started. And, but, I can look up the clip of Hogan slamming Andre, and that's the only thing I need to know from this match. Like that's the moment. And so I'm at a D here. Richie?
Yeah, if you look into history, I don't even think it's the first time Hogan slammed him.
No. Yeah.
Or he doesn't. I mean, if you want to be technical, he doesn't slam him. But it's
he kind of half picks him up sideways and then just kind of drops him.
Yeah. Kind of like it, very, very similar to how they pushed Lex Luger when he slammed Yokozuna. Like it's a cool moment. Just because of the moment it lived on in history, I might give it a slight edge, and more than a D. But it's not a great match necessarily. So, but I'd give it a C.
No, I'm in the same vein as Richie. I would actually go into kind of C- territory. I think it's a little bit better than D just because I think the crowd's there. It is more of a spectacle than Hogan Bundy. I think they do the personality stuff. I like watching, at least Bobby the Brain Heenan's there to watch too, in Andre's corner. I think the moments in this match at least elevated a little bit higher than something like Hogan Bundy. And the final sequence is good. And again, it's still a typical Hogan match. Hogan sells for most of the match and then does the slam and the comeback. It is what it is. It's kind of over quickly. But I think the atmosphere and the crowd at least pushes this into slight C territory for me. So I've watched it before. It's not bad. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. I think Meltzer famously gave it like -3 or 4 stars or something. I was like, it's not that bad, bro. I've seen way worse matches than this. Way worse.
I feel like if he went back and watched it, he probably would go.
Yeah,
he wouldn't really rate it that way.
Yeah.
Yes. Best match from this Mania: Savage and Steamboat.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
And speaking of Savage, he's in our next match where he took on Ted DiBiase in the finals of a 14-person tournament.
Oh my god! It's the show that goes forever with a whole bunch of every match is like 3 minutes. It's insane.
Yes, we'll go back down to Richie. What are your thoughts on Savage DiBiase?
Yeah, I remember that match being all right, but I forget that this was the main event. To be honest, it's a show where I forget that this was that this main evented the show. So probably in that respect, I'm sure the work rate was good. These two are really good workers, but I forget because it's not as memorable. I might put it in like the maybe the D territory, honestly, just because like it's not. I forget that this match happened.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. Technically speaking, it's a decent match, but it gets lost in the oh my god. By the time you get there, you're just exhausted because there's been like so many goddamn matches on this show. Just every match is a star, 2 stars at best. And so technically speaking, it's probably the best match on the show, but you're completely lost by the time it gets there. And there's a lot of stuff with Hogan and Andre on the outside that kind of distracts from the match. Like they focus way more on that than the actual match. So yeah, I'll go like a solid D. I do think technically though it's better than Hogan Bundy, so I would put it above that.
Yeah, I was all set to give this a C. I was enjoying it. I was like, yeah, remembering like, yeah, Savage had like what 3 matches already. This is his 4th match. He's probably a little tired, even though he's only probably wrestled for 10 minutes total. But and then Hogan, who's supposed to be the face, comes in with a steel chair, hits Ted DiBiase in the back. I'm like, what kind of babyface behavior is that? It's total BS.
You'll see as we go on. Hulk Hogan is the most heelish baby face ever. He's a prick.
So I am okay with it staying in the D tier, but yeah, I would put it above Hogan Bundy. So I think that's a perfect spot for it. Then, so Austin, we'll start with you. Long-term storytelling here.
Mega powers explode at WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, Savage, Hogan. What do you think?
This is actually a really good match when you go back to it. I think again, this is probably one of the better matches of each of these guys' WWF career. As far as again, they exercise their personalities a lot in it. Savage, you could tell, probably put the match together because he's in control of most of it. Even though I think the crowd was slightly pulling even maybe for him over Hogan. If you watch this, the crowd's a little not as high as you like them or think they should be in this match. I think they're just because they go a little long. They go like over 15 minutes. Like they go like 16 or 17 minutes. But overall, like it's actually a really well worked match, and it's a good build up and a good payoff. Hogan kicks out of the elbow drop at one point, which was pretty cool for the time. I'm gonna say this is the best one so far. I'd put it in the A territory.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with A. I think this was the best main event of the 80s. Mm-hmm. I think it was really well worked. I love heel Randy Savage. I think he's great. You had the typical Hogan comeback, but that didn't take away from the match at all. I mean, yeah, after watching 3 or 4 main events in a row where he just hulks up and wins, and what feels like that, like it feels like it just comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, okay, he was just beat on for 12 minutes and now he wins, but
it's a Super Cena thing.
It's and you got to remember, a product of the time, like kayfabe was still alive back then. Like it was still about the spectacle in the show. And yeah, I'm in agreement on A. Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking A as well. Yeah, that this is probably this is a pretty good match, and I think these, even though they might not have, not actually like each other. Well, at least Macho Man didn't like Hogan. Like they actually had good chemistry in the ring. So, it showed in this match, and I think it is pretty good. And like it's probably the best storyline build of. Probably most of the matches we got on here actually. So like the build towards this match was amazing. So I'll go A.
All right, nice.
All right, so I'm liking where this is going so far. I think we got a good list going. We're moving to WrestleMania 6. Don't worry, we've only got 4 more Hulk Hogan matches to talk about, and then we'll switch it up.
Yeah.
3.5.
I mean, it was Hulkamania. It is what it is. You're stuck with it.
Yeah. But we have Hogan Warrior, and I'm actually going to put. I think it's like not quite as good as I think Savage Hogan for me, but I still think it's on that A level. I think it was really well worked. I think Warrior was displaying like a little bit of a heelish, like going after him when he's hurt and stuff. But he obviously still a fan favorite. And yeah, no, I think just because they're both like kind of that same type where we're gonna bounce back, we're gonna hook up, and do our finishes. The finish I feel like was it just happened. Like there was no build up to it. It just happened and then it was done. And I kind of dug it. Um, I liked Hogan handing him the belt, kind of showing him a sign of respect, them hugging it out in the ring. Um, I don't remember how long it was. I feel like this was just about the same length as Savage Hogan, maybe even a little bit longer, but I think it was well paced. Uh, my only thing was when you're like 16 minutes into a match and you're doing a rest hold, but the rest hold is like a bear hug.
Yeah.
Like, are you do they ever like whisper in each other's ears like, "Hey, how do you think it's going? Oh, this is good. What do you want to do after the show?" I was thinking steak, maybe. Oh, okay. Should we get to the finish? Yeah, let's get to the finish. Okay.
Well, I mean, I can say I've done that before with some of the wrestlers, but only if it's two guys who are really good workers and can just, are just literally just doing the rest hold, not really calling the next spots, but just catching the breath for a second.
Yeah.
And we've done stuff where it's like, what are you doing after the show? Yeah, we should go to Chili's or whatever. Like I've definitely done that shit. I can say in the ring. Or I've also done stuff like that with when we have a spot where I have to get distracted by like a manager or valet, like hopping up on the apron, we'll do the same thing. We'll be like, "How do you think it's going? What's going on?" Like, that looked pretty good, But occasionally I'll be like, "Get down off the apron," what's going on? Like I've done that before. It depends on how loud the crowd is, but yeah.
Richie, what do you think about Warrior Hogan?
Yeah, it's a really cool moment. Obviously, Hogan losing is a shock. Sort of parts of the guard or whatever. But the only thing I don't like about this match is, and it's probably, I don't know, it was a Hogan thing, his ego. But yeah, I hate the fact that Hogan kicks out at 3. It's like no, just
it's just like I'm gonna lose, but goddamn it, I'm gonna kick out at 3.1.
Yeah, I hate that. Just kick, just stay down. I don't know, but it was a cool, and obviously the Ultimate Warrior experiment didn't work for obvious reasons. He was pretty hard to work with, but it was it was still a really it was still a really cool moment. I have no issue with it being an A. This is the match. I think Edge was in the crowd for this match. He always talks about it. So
yeah.
I
was trying to spot him, but I couldn't remember where he popped up, so I just stopped looking for him.
Probably Warrior's best match up until this point. He would actually have a better one at the next WrestleMania we'll talk about with Savage. Ironically enough, you flip the order of these, the round robin thing around, and they have even better match at Mania. So again, because Savage is a really good worker, he's a better worker than Hogan. But yeah, I mean, these guys did their thing. There was still some rest holds here and there, obviously, because Warrior blows himself up every time he gets in the ring. But yeah, crowd was good for it. It's a solid match. Yeah, I have no problem with being an A, but yeah, I would put it where it is underneath the Savage match for sure. Yeah.
All right. We'll move into WrestleMania 7, American Hero Sergeant Slaughter. American Hero Hulk Hogan.
He wasn't at this point. He was the Iraqi sympathizer.
Yeah, no, he was Mr. Iraq, Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah.
This was the infamous one where they I don't think they could. The crowd, people were so disinterested in this match. I think they couldn't fill out the building they were going to be in. So they said, "Oh, we got a bomb threat." So they went into a smaller venue. So yeah. What year was this in? I'm just this
91.
91. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No,
it's around the Desert Storm stuff that was going on. Yeah, the Iraq invasion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But you're up first, I think.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, okay, because I think they were something happened now. This wasn't the initial main event, and then so they scrapped because Sergeant Slaughter wasn't perceived as a main event guy at the time, and they kind of just they're scrounging for a main event. So like, we'll get this guy who's a mid carder to come up, and then we'll just make him a heel or a Iraqi sympathizer, and yeah, to try and get heat. And then yeah, it didn't get it didn't pay off as much as and then and he won the title, and yeah, it was and it's as a match, it's not great either. It's just it's not great in one of the. I mean, other than it's I don't know. I'd probably put it like I don't know, probably a D to be honest. It's not great.
Maybe I like this match more than Richie, but I thought the crowd was pretty hot for this match, especially you could tell they were into the angle. They were like extra kind of pulling for Hogan in this one. I like that. I think it's the first one we had where somebody was bleeding. Sergeant Slaughter got color in this one, and it makes for a good little moment where Hogan's got him Slaughter's got him in the camel clutch, like while he's bleeding. Like it's a pretty good, just like picture, moment. And yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest work rate wise, but again, I think the heat for the match and the angle, elevates it a little bit. So I'd watch this over Hogan and Bundy. So I'll put it in C territory.
Okay.
Yeah, just personally.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement there with the C. It's not bad, but it's not,
It's
one of the better matches. It's fine. It like Austin said, the crowd was into it. There's a cool angle. So yeah, I think it's a fine match. And when I think of the C tier, I think fine. So I think that's a perfect spot for it.
Yeah. But again, like we said, there was a better match earlier on the card with Savage and Warrior.
Oh yeah,
that was like the match of the show. And then much like the one we're about to talk about with Hogan and Sid, there was a way better match before it with Ric Flair and Randy Savage. It's a really good match.
Well, it's a way better match.
Randy Savage seems to be the common denominator in all these matches.
He's the actual Mr. WrestleMania that nobody talks about for the first 9 or 10 years. He's the actual Mr. WrestleMania that has all the showstoppers.
Yeah, so Austin, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, I wish we were rating and talking about Ric Flair and Randy Savage because that's a really good match that is at least like a 4-star match. It's really good.
Hey, we might be able to talk about it next week.
Well, yeah, maybe if we talk about some of the ones we draft and shit like that. Yeah, you could definitely do that. Hogan and Sid Vicious, bro. This is like the lowest of the low so far for me because like Sid Vicious is at least with Hogan when he's facing guys like Savage or Warrior or something, like there's the personality there. They can at least work kind of a classic heel babyface match, and it's watchable. Like this match is freaking boring. Like this match is boring as hell. I don't care. Like I don't think Sid Vicious was like. I mean, this is the classic. Like, hey, we got a new big man. Let's immediately put him in there with Hogan, no matter if he sucks or if he's good. And I don't hate Sid Vicious like overall. But yeah, you put two guys in there who are not the greatest workers, and you're going to get a pretty piss poor match. So yeah, this is like F tier. This is the worst of the bunch so far. I'd rather watch Hogan and Bundy. at least Bundy can work. At least Bundy can work. Like he's a decent worker. But yeah, this is not great.
Yeah. F.
And it has a DQ finish, which sucks.
Right.
Which really is a stupid way to end the damn show. Like you tell me Hogan couldn't beat Sid Vicious? Like, come on, bro.
Well.
Like,
because this was the match too where Sid had to kick out because Papa Shango didn't come down.
So because they act like it's a mistake. Yeah, it's a whole mess. Yeah, the whole thing's a mess.
Like, well, I mean, way to think on the fly, but so F. And
that sucks.
Richie.
Yeah, and this was the time too where, like, I think everybody wanted, because the marquee match to make, you would think, would be Hogan and Flair, and apparently, like, they tried it at house shows and it wasn't testing well. I don't believe that story because Hogan and Flair did well in the CW. So they paired Flair up with Savage, and they were like, okay, well, who are we going to pair up with Hogan? Oh, well, yeah. So it's just Vince's go-to. I'll just go for a big guy. Go for a big dude. Sid Vicious, he's a new dude, and yeah, like I like Sid sort of sometimes ironically because he's funny on promos. Um, uh, but like, yeah, this was boring as hell. So, they didn't work well together. So yeah, F is a good spot for it.
Yeah, some of these matches got to be in there. This is
Yeah.
definitely the one. Yeah. If
So-
anybody watches this show, just stop after Flair and Savage. You've hit the peak. Just stop. Just cut it off right there. You're good.
Yeah. So we move on to WrestleMania 9. I will say that I did not make this this tier ranker chart. This is one that I found
Yeah.
online. So while Hogan Yokozuna closed the show, the announced main event was Bret Hart Yokozuna. That's what we're going to talk about.
Okay. No, fair enough.
And which I think that match again is fine. I think it's fine. It's not particularly memorable, but I don't think, when you have Bret Hart, you're at least going to get some quality wrestling. He's going to try. He's going to do his best because he's the best there was, the best there will be. You guys know the catchphrase. I butchered it. I'm sorry. But it's one that I think is fine. I think it's kind of, forgotten in, because of all the aftermath. But I think the match itself was fine. So I would go see. I'd probably watch it. I'd probably stop watching after the pinfall or whatever, however it happened. I would stop after the finish and just not watch any of the Hogan stuff. So I would enjoy watching that, but yeah. So not Hogan, Hart Yokozuna. I'll give this one a C.
Yeah, it'd probably be a different story if we were factoring the Hogan stuff because this was a time where I'm like, you watch and you're like, where it's like Hogan, you're not a baby face, man. This is not, you're not you're a massive heel and you're a dick. But yeah, it's just baffling. One of the worst WrestleManias ever, by the way. I still maintain this is the worst WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You guys know what match went on before Yokozuna and Bret Hart?
What?
The Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez. What a great match that was.
One of the worst matches just ever, period. It's a horrible match. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch Hogan and Sid than that match. Yeah. So
Bret Hart Yokozuna, it's fine. No one ever gonna have a clash. But I like Yokozuna as a big guy. He's cool. He's good. I wasn't like not a huge fan of the finish. I thought Bret Hart should have just won. Maybe just won. I don't know. I thought Bret. So I don't know. But I guess they had to do the thing where Hulk Hogan politicked. It would have been cool if it culminated in a Bret Hart Hulk Hogan match, but I never ended up doing that. So, C is a good spot for it. Yeah, so like as a Yokozuna and Bret Hart, it's fine with me if you don't factor in the aftermath.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's an okay match. I am a fan of Yokozuna. The guy moves well. I always a fan. I think he's one of the better big men. The only thing that drags us down to like D territory for me is the finish. He drops out the salt.
Yeah.
He loses via salt in the eyes, and just like to me, that's just a stupid finish. Like, I don't get me wrong. Their match they have that we'll talk about in a second also has a pretty stupid finish. But I also think the match we're going to talk about in a minute is better than this match because I think the crowd's a little hotter and I think the work rate's just a slightly above average for them. So I would put this one in D and put the next one in C, not to spoil my thing, but whatever. But I got outvoted, so it's C. That's fine.
I would put this at the bottom of C, so I think like where it's at now, like with those fine. Three.
C minus is fine,
Yeah.
We will get into the second Bret Hart Yokozuna match, and this time we will start with Richie.
Yeah. This match. Again, like this match was good. Yeah, it's probably better than year prior. It was good, but as Austin alluded to, the finish is stupid because he just falls off the top rope.
Yeah, he just slips, and then Bret just covers him really quick and gets the 3 count. It's like, could he at least do something after that? Could he put him in the
Can you put in the
sharpshooter?
sharpshooter?
Yeah,
Can you not put in the
something.
sharpshooter or something?
Anything, I don't know, because he does a bulldog or a thing and gets like a near fall, and the crowd pops really big for it. Like thinking he won. Like he could do anything to him after that, and like the crowd would pop for it, and then he just covers him, and it's like crowd still pops, but it's like it's a weird finish. Yeah.
Yeah, like why wouldn't Yokozuna kick out of that? It just felt like there was like this week, just like and it felt like like Yoko slipped. I don't know. It just felt like Yoko beat himself. So, but prior to the finish, it was a decent match, and you could see that. Yeah, this was before sort of Yoko. I mean, he's still big, but he hadn't gotten too big for his own good yet. So, and he could still move around pretty well. So it was a decent match. I'd go see.
Yeah, I'm the same. Again, just me quibbling. I would put it above the other one, but that's just me personally. So, but I still go see territory.
Yeah, I'd put it above that one too. Yeah, I do think the finish is kind of silly. Wasn't this also the WrestleMania where the crowd was like waving American flags as well when Yokozuna came out?
Well, it's both matches. They chant USA and not realizing Bret Hart's Canadian.
Right. I was like, it makes sense for the Luger match.
Sure.
But this one, it's a Canadian versus what is supposed to be a Japanese, even though he's actually Samoan. But it's like, come on, crowd. Do better.
Also, like the Luger match is on first, and like Luger has he comes out, he has a look on his face like I'm losing. Like he looked dejected, like I'm losing this match. Like my push is over. I'm losing this match. Like it was, it was,
Thankfully, Bret Hart had a much better match on this card against his brother Owen in the opener. And let's not forget Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Well,
again,
WrestleMania 10
another case of better matches on the undercard, but whatever we're gonna do.
So I believe we're at WrestleMania 11.
LT and Bam Bam. Yeah, it's one of the strangest main events of all time. The fact that this was the main event and not Diesel and Shawn Michaels was really weird because Diesel and Shawn Michaels is a better match. And it's also the title match, so it's just strange. And there's like a history that this is just really strange all around. I don't understand the booking decision.
Yeah. WrestleMania 11 is weird because it's like it's very obsessed with celebrity. I know, we're still, but like you said, celebrities are involved in WrestleMania all the time. But this is very obsessed with celebrity. Like you had Pam Anderson there, you had Jonathan Taylor Thomas, when he was a thing, and so it was very obsessed with celebrity. But I don't have a problem with this match being on the card, but to main event is very strange.
Yeah, this should have been the semi to Shawn and Diesel, which had a storyline going in and with the title match, and ended up being a better match, and a pretty decent match at that. Like we were ranking it on here, probably put it like B+ territory. It's pretty decent. I mean, this isn't like horrible. I mean, the crowd's into it. LT does okay for what he's trying to do. He throws a lot of forearms in this match. That's like his primary offense. Every time he gets a chance, he's just throwing forearms. Bam Bam predictably puts the heat on him. His selling, LT selling sucks. I mean, he's not a wrestler, so I can't get on him too hard. But yeah, at the same time, for what it is, the whole thing is just weird. I'd go like D territory with this, honestly. So.
Yeah, I think it was a little better than I anticipated because not knowing LT's background other than being a football player, there were a few moments that surprised me, but at the same time, it's a little slow. Credit to Bam Bam for trying his best, but. Yeah, WrestleMania 11 as a whole, I think
it's one of the.
It's not a great WrestleMania either.
WrestleMania.
It's a very skippable WrestleMania as well. Yeah,
I think it could be an F tier WrestleMania if it wasn't for, Diesel and Shawn. But yeah, I'm totally fine with the D tier for a celebrity main event.
Yeah. I don't have much to add. Yeah, probably D tier. Bam Bam. I feel like he was primarily used as a comedy guy in WWE. He should have been used like he was used in ECW as a kind of a badass. And I'm glad he got to, he was able to kind of be utilized later on in that role, and even in WCW to a lesser degree. But yeah, and I don't know why Vince just saw him as a sort of a comedy foil, but yeah, yeah, no, it belongs in deep.
Yeah. All right, so we come to
This is going to be controversial.
the guy who is now known as
Yeah.
Mr. WrestleMania,
Uh-huh.
Shawn and Brett in an Iron Man match. There was a time when I would have put this higher, but I think we've seen better Iron Man matches since. I think we've seen better WrestleMania main events since, and in the grand scheme of it all, I think it hasn't aged well. I think there's parts of this match where it just gets really slow and really boring.
Boy, you
And
don't say. Holy shit.
I find myself like wanting to just on Peacock just hit the fast forward. Let's just go to the fast forward. We'll just do it once. It moves a little faster. But yeah, man. I mean, I think the wrestling is good, but this one has not aged well. I'd go B tier because I still think it's good. I still think it's better than average, but yeah, there was a time when I probably would have put this A, maybe even S, but over the years, it's dropped a little bit.
Yeah, this has dropped for me as well. Just because like you all remember like it's when Shawn Michaels, the boyhood dreams come true for Shawn Michaels. But yeah, that's in between a lot of rest holds. A lot of like
A lot of arm bars and
arm
bars.
a lot of arm bars, and that's all right in a normal match. But when you're going 60 minutes, it's like. It's very drags it out. I think they've learned a lot from this match. Wrestling industry's learned a lot from this match too, because they don't do that anymore. It's like just going off the more recent one, the MJF Bryan Danielson match is perfectly paced. It didn't have that, have a lot of that.
Same as my favorite one, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar on SmackDown, is a really great paced match. Like they did a lot of spots and a lot of cool things to keep everybody interested, and we're always working towards something. You know what I mean? Like they were always doing something. Like you're gonna have a rest hold here and there because it's a 60-minute match. Those guys have to rest a little bit, but when you get guys like Brock and Kurt Angle who have amazing cardio, who were collegiate wrestlers, like they don't get blown up. You can do a lot more. Even guys like Rock and Triple H who have great cardio and who can go. You're gonna have a few wrestles here and there, but they know how to like pace it out, you know what I mean, and have a good match.
Yeah. So I think that so I think like it's sort of gone down as a nightmare match, but I won't be harsh for like give it F or anything or D. I'll give it like a high C. I think it's a C, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I'm exactly in agreement with Richie. I think it's like a C territory, honestly, because the last like 10 minutes or so and the sudden death stuff is good. And there's some good spots here, but holy shit, does it take 45 minutes to get anything good in this match? Like other than the one dive, like that's really like it. I mean, there's a lot of rest holds and a lot of arm bars and a lot of stalling and just like I remember the first time I even watched this match, I was like, oh yeah, great main event, and like. It's like, fuck, does anything happen in this match forever? And then all the stuff you see in the highlight reels happens in like the last 10 minutes, like literally all of it. And it's like, oh, okay, I see what they did there. So yeah, great moments, great final sequence. But yeah, because of that, it can't for me get into higher than a C category just for me. I just can't because it just takes forever to get there. So yeah.
All right. Best match on this card, Piper and Goldust.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The Hollywood backlot brawl.
Dustin Rhodes talks about this match all the time. It's funny. He legit accidentally ran over. He's like, he legit one time accidentally ran him over. He's like, I just killed Roddy Piper.
Well, it's like, does anybody remember the hardcore match at WrestleMania 17 where Kane almost runs over Raven with the golf cart? Legitimately?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Like he damn near runs his leg over and Raven just screams really loud. And I'm just like, oh my God, he ran him over.
Yeah. And then when in the golf cart that get tangled on a cord, which is a very important cord, because if that cord got disconnected, that would have cut the power to the whole fucking building.
Oh God. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
All right. We're moving into WrestleMania 13. Another Sid match. The first Undertaker main event. We have Undertaker and Sid, which, this one probably should have been Austin and Brett, but it wasn't. So, Richie, we're starting with you. Let me just do you a favor, though.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going to put it. You can.
I don't know. I don't think it's quite as bad as the Hogan one. But yeah, it's still bad. This Austin and WrestleMania 13 is not that as memorable either, but like Austin and Brett saves the show. That's a memorable. The double turn. It's really good. But yeah, this match kind of sucks. There is a weird rumor that I don't know why I'm bringing this up. There's a weird rumor that Sid Vicious shits himself in this match.
I mean, shit happens.
I don't know. Like, I would probably put it at the end of. Actually, fuck it. Yeah, F. But I'll probably put it above Hogan and Sid. I think it's a little bit better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the opening 2 minutes and like the final 2 or 3 minutes is fine for this, but boy, is there like a 20-minute stretch in the middle where this just sucks. This blows. To where I would put it slightly above Hogan and Sid as well. But yeah, this match is not good. Yeah, significant for Undertaker's first main event at WrestleMania, but not good. F tier.
Yeah. I'm there too. How's my connection? Am I good?
You're a little wonky.
All right,
a little wonky. Like you can tell because the tier ranker's getting a little blurry.
Yeah, I've got the symbol. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah.
Hopefully it'll go away.
Yeah.
In a moment. I've only got the 2 tabs open. And usually that doesn't matter on my end. Hopefully it'll be fine. But yeah, I'm in agreement on. Yeah, this is fine. It's one of the worst. So I think that's where I would put it as well. We are on to 14. Shawn Michaels is back in the main this time, taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin with Mike Tyson on the outside. So I believe Austin, we will start with you for the first Steve Austin event.
Yeah, I like this match a pretty decent amount. Yeah, it's Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. They have pretty decent chemistry. There's always been rumors. Was Michaels' injury as bad as he said it was, or did he just want to take some time off? I don't know. He seems like he's not like in horrendous shape for this one. He's a little bit slower than he usually is, but I don't think he's like underperforming or anything in this match, or if he's really hurt, then he's definitely trying to put on a show. I think Austin definitely carries the match, but he was also kind of red hot at the time, so he's able to, with his spots, really pep the crowd up, throughout the thing. I legitimately think this is a pretty good match, and I've gone back and watched it a couple of times. They have some nice brawling. There's some nice technical stuff. The stuff with Mike Tyson's pretty decent. I would put it in A tier. I'd probably put it a little lower than the 2 up there, like A- territory, but I still think it's pretty good, and it deserves an A tier. I mean, when you get a good match between 2 good workers, I feel like we got to give it some props in this tier ranker because we're not going to get a whole lot of really great, stuff till later. So, I'll give it like a little A.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Two good workers. A great moment. The Austin era has begun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mike Tyson raising Austin's hand. Yeah, and it's a really good match. If Austin or if Michaels was, you know, that injured that he had to take 4 years off, he wasn't showing it. So, um, I'm in agreement on A. I think it's definitely one of the best we've seen so far, and um, I like that placement. Richie.
Yeah, I'd give it an A. Probably, probably the few times where, that we've had so far where it's probably the better match on the show. Undertaker and Kane was pretty memorable as well, I guess, just because it was their first sort of meeting on pay-per-view. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely memorable, for the passing of the torch, and it's Shawn Michaels' last match for 4.5 years, and then obviously the Tyson punch at the end, which is pretty cool, pretty iconic. But yeah, it is pretty good match. So yeah, A is a good spot for it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to WrestleMania 15, we have the first of 3 Austin Rock matches. Only 2 of them would be the main event.
Yep.
But we start with this one, and I like. I don't think there's a bad Austin Rock match. I think for me this one is like I'm saying like it's the least favorite of my 3 is like saying it's my least favorite. To bring it back to movies, it's my least favorite Toy Story movie. Like you can say that it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Austin Rock had a really good WrestleMania trilogy. I think this was a good start. I would put this one up in A tier, which I think tells you how highly I think of it, and it's still in the A tier. Austin Rock just had great chemistry with each other. I think both in the ring and on the mic. So I think A tier is a good spot for this one. I'm curious to see what you guys think, and I'm curious to see where 17 goes when we get there in just a couple short years. Richie, what do you think about their 15 match though?
Yeah. 15. It's probably my second favorite of the 3. I mean, if we're judging Austin Rock matches as a whole, probably this is just goes a bit below the Backlash match that they had a month afterwards. Just simply because of that the spot where where Rock's holding a camera.
He gets stunned while he's holding
And
the
then
camera.
he gets stunned. He's like, "Oh shit!" that's so funny. But yeah, this match is pretty good. This was like I think the one where Vince gave Rock the title shot because Vince won the Royal Rumble, and you weren't going to get Vince in a WrestleMania main event, so you want to give it to the guy who was red hot at the time. But yeah, it's still a really good match. They have great chemistry, and it's the start of a great rivalry here. So I think A tier is a good spot for it. It is still a very good match.
Yeah, A tier is perfect. I have it right near Sean and Steve. Like quality wise, it's really good. You can tell these guys were gonna have great chemistry, as you can see. I actually, I'm gonna agree with you. I think the Backlash match is even a little bit better, just because it's a little more fun. Because it's like a no DQ match. They're like brawling all over the place. It's pretty fun. They have a good time, and but yeah, I mean, they would go on to have, I think, an even better WrestleMania match, with even better chemistry, and an even hotter crowd. So, but still, fully acknowledge when there's a really good match on here. It should be an A tier for sure. So, yeah.
All right. Now we go to a McMahon in every corner.
Ooh, and it wasn't supposed to be that. It was supposed to just be Triple H versus The Rock.
And also,
I don't know if you guys have rewatched this recently or rewatched this WrestleMania recently on Peacock, but if you go to Peacock, the poster that they use is Big Show, Rock, Triple H, and Jericho. Like Foley's not even on the poster that they use.
It wasn't meant to be Foley. It was meant to be Jericho.
and realistically, it should have been Jericho.
Yeah, because Foley retired.
Foley was retired. And 2 weeks later, they're Linda McMahon's bringing him back out, and it makes no goddamn sense. And Mick Foley thought he was retired too, went and ate a bunch of food and gained a bunch of weight, and then had to get ready for a WrestleMania main event. And it shows in this match when he botches the elbow and doesn't
Yeah,
make it
yeah,
far enough.
he talks about it in his book. There's a spot in this match where he like I think him and Triple H working together, and like he goes to elbow, and he even talks to Triple H in the match. He's like, I'm not going to make it. You know, and he's like, no, just try. You're not going to make it. He comes nowhere near the table.
Yeah, he bruised his sternum during that, and and hurt himself pretty bad for the rest of the match. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This is also the WrestleMania where the only singles match was between Terry Reynolds and the Cat with Val Venus as special guest referee.
yeah, they crammed everybody on this card. Everybody. Yeah. Multi-man matches galore, just like AEW on that one pay-per-view where we talked about where the hell are all the singles matches where there was 3 versus 3 and tag team matches and 3-way tag team match. I forget which one it was, but we were like, oh my god, are there any singles matches in the show? Yeah, besides the women's matches.
Mm-hmm. So I believe Richie
will. Yeah. Besides, even though 2000 was one of their most successful years, I'd argue that like this WrestleMania only has 2 good matches on the show, which is the Triangle Ladder match and the Benoit, Jericho, and Kurt Angle. The rest is just kind of weird filler, I don't. I guess McMahon's just they just wanted the McMahons on the show. It took away from the match here. I don't know why they just couldn't do Rock and Triple H. They just end up doing it at Backlash anyway. So anyway, I mean, I guess it was all right, but yeah, as an overall match, it was fun. But yeah, the McMahon's took away from the match, and yeah, like you didn't need Mick Foley in the match. You could have had Jericho. It would have been a cool thing for Jericho to be on in this match. Yeah, that's not terrible, but I just think it's unnecessary. I'd say C.
Yeah, I might be a tad more generous and go like a low B just because I don't think it's boring. There's always something going on, and it's a lot like that era where it's extremely overbooked. There's always shit going on in this with the 4 McMahons out there too. There's always some shit going on, or somebody interfering, or somebody flying all over the place, or some weapon being used. So like, it's not boring. It's a little too long. It's like almost 40 minutes or some shit. Like it's way too long for what it needs to be. And yeah, if it had Jericho in there, it might be a little better work rate wise. I'd be a little generous with this one because I think there's good workers in there. There's good stuff, and I'd rather watch it over a lot of that other stuff in the C territory. So I'll go like a B minus.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too, because I didn't particularly like at the beginning of the match with the Big Show, and he's just running over everyone, and then they're like, oh, let's team up on him and eliminate him in less than 5 minutes.
That's the same as the Survivor Series 2001, the Alliance finale. Like Big Show gets in there and he dominates for a minute, and then they all do a finisher to him and like eliminate him pretty damn quick. I think because they know he's not a great worker, so they just like do that immediately. It's almost the same thing. Yeah.
So I didn't like that. I did like when it turned into a triple threat between Rock, Foley, and Triple H. I thought that was pretty decent. But once Foley's eliminated, it's like the last 5 minutes of this match is Shane and Vince, going after each other, and the finish is Vince hits Rock with a chair, he kicks out, he hits him with a chair again, and then Triple H wins. Like that's a dumb finish. I mean, I think there's a better Vince interference finish that we'll get to, but this one I don't think it worked because I thought it was stupid. But I enjoyed most of it. Like I said, I enjoyed that middle part. I think that middle part was really good. But there's just moments that drag it down. And yeah, the McMahon in every corner is silly. So B tier, low B, I think, behind the first match, I think, for me personally.
two really overbooked matches in the B tier with a lot of shit
Yeah.
going on, a lot of
Yeah.
people out there. With a lot of people out there, so it's not boring, but oh my god, there's too much going on in both those matches. Yeah.
So, Austin, we'll come to you
Yes.
now for what could potentially be.
We'll see. I'll have to be real nitpicky, but we're getting to one that's probably a top three of all time if we're being, if we're looking at this, because yeah, I love Rocket Austin from 17. I think it was just kind of a perfect, amalgamation of everything. A great build with these two guys going back and forth. Both these guys, you could argue, kind of at the peak of their stardom and star power, and just it coming together at a giant arena and a crowd that was super hot. And it's funny how hot the crowd is and how much they're able to put on a great show when you have a card that legitimately you could say is probably maybe the best WrestleMania of all time, with a lot of bangers and like not too many duds. I mean, when your worst match is pretty much a quick squash between China and Ivory, that like is kind of inoffensive for what it is.
Or maybe the Gimmick Battle Royal, which is kind of fun.
It's still kind of fun.
Yeah.
The entrances are
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I mean the character stuff is fun. It doesn't, and you have Bobby Heenan and Gene Okerlund on commentary. They're having a good time. You know what I mean? So it's watchable. But like, there's a lot of bangers on this card, man. I mean, Regal and Jericho in the opener is good. You have like Benoit and Angle having a great match. You have the
TLC 2,
which is maybe one of my favorite. As we said, one of my favorite matches of all time. Yeah, you got a lot of good stuff on this card, and for them to also have an amazing match is really something. So yeah, this is an easy S tier. It's awesome. Everybody remembers that Limp Bizkit package, the My Way or the Highway.
yeah, it's one of the best video packages of all time.
Oh yeah, one of the best ones. Just really great. A lot of it's like Rock taking those over the top stunners, which is a lot of fun just to watch.
Yeah.
See compilations of that online, just him taking the stunners, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a perfect blend of everything you can want out of a WrestleMania main event, with two guys who are legitimately the top guys in the company having a hell of a match. So yeah, this is an S tier. I'll be real nitpicky when it comes to us ranking an S tier, but for now it's going to go up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. S tier all the way. I think this is like I said, this is where the McMahon interference works, because I don't think anybody saw it coming. McMahon, Austin aligning with each other. And it just worked because I think it showed how resilient Rock was, where it doesn't take 2 chair shots to keep him down. It takes, 30?
Well, I mean, to me, that's
a
a cool finish, because it's like, it's no DQ. Why not just hit him 85 times with a chair?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if you were in a legitimate match and it was no DQ and you could use weapons, I would use weapons and just beat the guy silly and then pin him. It makes sense. And especially after, they've kicked out of each other's finishers over and over again. What are you going to do? You're going to get frustrated, grab a chair and beat the snot out of him and pin him.
Right.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said. That this is my second favorite WrestleMania of all time. Well, my favorite is still to come. But yeah, the fact that they had great match after great match and the crowd was still hot all the way through, like, speaks to just how good the company was at the time and how good these two were, especially being at the top. So yeah, I think this is S tier. I think this, top 3, like you said. JPO, what do you think?
Oh, good.
What match are we talking about?
It's a good time to jump in for WrestleMania 17, Rock and Austin. Yeah.
So 98, 99.
No,
2001. Oh, 2001. Okay. See, I'm better with years. Hi everyone. JPO here. I'd say S tier. Yeah, you know what I mean? I love shenanigans at the end here, but yeah, no, the trilogy and this in 2003 are fantastic. So yeah, I'm good with it being S.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, this is an S tier. This is my favorite part of my favorite WrestleMania. I mean, I think my second favorite is your favorite. We'll get to it. But yeah, I just think it caps off a great WrestleMania, and it's just a fantastic match. The emotions there, the crowd's amazing. You have everything going for it, and it makes me, just talking about it makes me want to rewatch this WrestleMania in this match. So yeah, S tier.
All right, so we have our first match in the S tier,
Mhm.
and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But it won't be there alone. Although I don't think our next match is going to be the match that joins it. We are going Jericho Triple H, which had the unfortunate uh, had to unfortunately follow Rock Hogan, which not only was a good match but a great moment. Uh, I'm still gonna go B tier for Jericho Triple H because it's not their fault they had to follow Hogan and Rock. It's not their fault the crowd was super into that match and just went all the way with it. Basically turning a heel Hulk Hogan face. Uh, you know, but I still think this is a good match. I think the action is good. I think it's solid. It's a decent main event on a decent WrestleMania, and I think it was a decent way to close the show. So I think everything in B tier so far is at least decent, and so that's kind of the criteria I'm going. B tier, decent, entertaining. I thought it was decently entertaining. JPO, what do you think about Jericho Triple H?
I'm gonna agree with beer. B tier.
Beer.
Sorry, I had a beer. I was out. Stella. Just one though, so I'm not drunk. What am I doing? Now I'm gonna agree with B tier. Yeah, I think the only knock on this one you can really have. I mean, the build wasn't necessarily super intense or anything, but the only real knock is that unfortunately, maybe in retrospect, isn't the main event match, the match that everyone thinks about, the match that's on most VHS and DVD covers. You know what I mean? But still, I'm glad that Jericho got the push here at the moment. Very well deserved, and still a decent match. So yeah, B is good for me.
Richie?
Yeah, the build up to this match was pretty shit. Actually, it had Jericho pick up Stephanie. Yeah, basically a lackey for Stephanie McMahon and pick up a like dog shit. He's your champion. He shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, so it was that build up was pretty bad. But yeah, like it's not their fault. Like you said, it's not their fault they had to follow Rock and Austin. But I mean Rock and Hogan. But yeah, you should read the room and kind of like going into it, that was going to happen. So yeah,
I think even Hogan and Rock thought they were going to headline because remember there's that promo, that face-to-face that Rock and Hogan had where he does the line where he's like, how'd you like to have one more WrestleMania with The Rock? And he like gets in his face and the crowd like blows up and like they're into it. And it's like, yeah, at that moment and the pop that got, you should have read the crowd, bro. You should have.
Yeah, because
you let Hogan main event with Sid, but you won't let Hogan main event with The Rock.
Yeah, which poor Sid is only 2 Mania appearances, both in the Fs, but I don't really. I'm not going to fight you on that.
And they have a good match, but the crowd is there's no heat for it. And the crowd, it sucks because Triple H just came back from injury. He's quite hot at this time, but yeah, it's like it's a cool story, but the crowd is dead for it, and you burned out the crowd, and it's a decent match. I think B is a good spot for it.
Yeah, B's perfect. They had other better matches, even just on television. That Raw match where Jericho won the title for an hour is a better match. I think they had a better
match. Hell in a Cell match.
Hell in a Cell match is good. The Last Man Standing match is good. Fully Loaded is really good, actually. They had even a better match on SmackDown. I mean, they've got good chemistry because they had great matches together. But yeah, this is not their best one. But yeah, again, technically, it's fine. There's just no heat for it, and there's just a lack of interest. So it's a B tier because you can put it on and not be offended by anything in it. It's fine. It's watchable, but yeah, B tier. I'm fine with that. And we come to I bounce back and forth between 17 and 19 being my favorite because I love
19.
Yeah, I think that's the safe debate if ever in a debate is 17 or 19.
Yeah, because 19, I would argue, doesn't have a bad match on the show.
I usually lean towards 19 because it's a great lineup.
Everything, even the lower matches are still entertaining. Even the Undertaker, A-Train, that match is still
Nathan Jones-ish.
Yeah. Undertaker's still working his ass off in that match.
It's not a bad match. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
My only gripe with that match is I'm pretty sure it's introduced as a handicap match. So why is Nathan Jones still able to get involved in the ring in front of the referee.
Well,
and
they
it
figured it was
doesn't
me
cause
handicapped
a
because the
12 count.
FBI took him out.
Well, he kicked him on the aisle, so that doesn't count, Jacob.
No, it was when he got in the ring.
He does stuff in the ring.
He does
A
stuff in the
little
ring.
bit, yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess Undertaker was probably like, "No, it's a tag match now. Let him in."
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
supposed to be a tag match. Yeah, because I say so. you know, whatever.
That would have really messed up the streak.
Yeah.
But that's not the main event. The main event is Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, JPO. We'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, another reason why I too will defend 03 is maybe the best. I'm torn between S and A. I'm gonna say A, maybe just because of that finish is a slightly lackluster. When he botches the shooting star, which he had done in OVW, but I mean the first Mania to be headlined by two guys just using their real names, man. This is why I joined the wrestling club in high school because I was like, this is the pathway to glory. Yeah, I think it's fantastic here. The rest of the match these two have had, I don't think they've ever had a bad match these two actually, and this is another really good one.
Richie?
I'm going to go S. I know for some people that the botch is going to bring it down. I still think it's an iconic moment, even though he almost died. And Kurt Angle's going into that match really hurt, and you wouldn't know, like, because then they still had a huge banger. This is like, this is a fantastic match too. Just great athletes. I absolutely love this match. It still holds up. So I'd go S. But I understand the reason for A, but I would go S.
Awesome.
I love this match. I go S as well. I wouldn't put it above Rock and Austin or another match we'll talk about very, very soon, but I would still put it in S tier because I think these guys work their ass off. I think they have a hell of a wrestling match. And again, these are two guys that you could tell had chemistry. They always had chemistry every time they get in the ring. All their SmackDown matches are great. They just knew how to work with each other and use that wrestling background. And again, a great accomplishment given the fact that you had a great Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho match. You had a really fun and entertaining Hogan and McMahon match, which is still entertaining. Like, not the greatest work rate, obviously, but like really entertaining. You had another Rock Austin banger, even with Austin, again, similar behind the scenes, having like 104 fever and going to the hospital right afterwards. Like, they made a whole like hour documentary or something about that.
It's kind of my favorite of the three because there's just less shenanigans and they're just having a great match.
Well, and it's also got an interesting dynamic with Rock doing that Hollywood heel thing he was doing at the time. Like, it's kind of a fun dynamic to that match. But given what came before it, and they're still able to put on a banger, it's something. I like this match a lot. I go S tier.
I'm going S tier as well. This is my second favorite main event from WrestleMania. I think it's incredible. Yeah, the botched finish. I can see that bringing it down for some people, but I think they worked it well on commentary. Kind of explaining it. I think they worked into the match pretty well. And the handshake at the end, I love what Paul Heyman says on, I think it was the first documentary they did on Brock Lesnar. I think it was released shortly after he left the company for the first time, because he described it as, it wasn't a handshake, for the audience. It was a handshake for those two because they just put on a really good match and they just show that they deserve the main event spot at WrestleMania. Like we said, the same WrestleMania that featured Rock and Austin, Hogan, McMahon, and even Booker T and Triple H, despite the finish.
What could have been an amazing fucking moment. What could have been an amazing moment, and oh my god, what the hell happened?
Yeah,
I don't understand. Still don't get that to this day.
Yeah, so I also have this one in the S tier. So I think the S tier is correct so far, in my opinion. WrestleMania 20. We'll start with Richie this time for Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and name redacted.
I understand why it might get out for people because it might have trouble watching a Benoit match given circumstances, but I'm still putting it in S tier. I think this match is fantastic. So and it was just such a cool moment at the end. These three have great chemistry. That the match a month later, Backlash was fantastic as well. I love this match so much, and then like the moment with Eddie Guerrero at the end is so great. I mean, marred a little bit by what happens in the future, but still, I fucking love this match. I think it's one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. I'm not lying. So I'll go S tier.
Austin.
Same with me. On any given day, this is my favorite WrestleMania main event ever. I think this match is damn near perfect for as much as you could a triple threat match. First time we'd ever have a triple threat match, in the main event at WrestleMania, and I think it was booked perfectly because you had a lot of different storylines going on. You had the Benoit underdog stuff, but Triple H and Shawn Michaels were still having their feud, and their feud was really good. And basically, over the course of almost 2 years, they had that feud, where they were going at each other in different matches, and they still have great moments. Shawn Michaels bleeds a bucket in this one, as he tends to. I mean, he has a really obvious spot where he cuts himself really obviously before he gets busted open when he has him hooked up ready for the catapult, and Shawn's literally just going and then they throw him in there. It's like, Jesus Christ, bro, relax. But the finish is perfect with Benoit going over with the crossface, and crowd goes nuts, and I think it's great. So on any given day, this is either one or two, like right neck and neck with Rock and Austin for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree. S tier on this one. Great triple threat. Everything you guys said so far, I'm going to agree with. Yeah, great action. And what a month and a half, or however long it was between WrestleMania and Backlash for Chris Benoit. Getting both Triple H and Shawn Michaels to submit. I don't know who else can say they've done that in such a short period of time. I like the underdog story. I like that they they were able to intertwine these two sort of storylines and do it in such a way that it worked. Because Shawn wasn't quite done with Triple H, because I believe it was a last man standing match at Royal Rumble where nobody won. It was a draw. Triple H was only the champion because he didn't lose. Shawn Michaels didn't win. He didn't lose, but Triple H didn't win either. I think they connected those perfectly. And it was so good that they ran it back very next pay-per-view, and that also worked. I think those two matches are actually on par with each other. But we're not talking about that one. We're talking about the WrestleMania main event, and I'm giving it an S tier. JPL, what about you?
Yeah, guys, no argument here. Make that 4 S's. I'm not necessarily a big fan of triple threats. Even as like a local indie booker, I'm almost against them usually, but they wrestle a fantastic one here, as you said, so much so that they did it again at Backlash, which I bet you wasn't even the plan, but this was so good I could see why they went to it twice, and that's a good match too. But this is fantastic. It does belong in the S tier.
Mm-hmm. I just like the Backlash match. I like because they're in Canada, I believe, and every time Shawn Michaels will do something,
he's a super heel in Canada. It's great. No, it makes for a great dynamic in that match with Benoit being the super baby face and Michaels being the super heel and Triple H being kind of stuck in the middle. So when he goes after Shawn Michaels, he's a hero. When he goes after Benoit, they boo him. It's pretty fun too.
Yeah,
it's a good dynamic in that one. Yeah, it's a fun match too. So, yeah.
We move on to another Triple H main event. Austin, this time we'll start with you, I believe.
Another main event that unfortunately has 4 other matches on the card that beat it in terms of match quality on the show, and a really underrated WrestleMania, actually. WrestleMania 21, the Hollywood one, is really underrated because you have Eddie and Ray in a good opener. You have Randy Orton, Undertaker have a good match.
The Money in the Bank match.
The Money in the Bank match is really good, and you have fucking Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels, which is amazing. So, those guys just throwing down completely. But this match is okay. It's not bad. I think it's pretty decent for what it was. It was never going to be a banger like those just because of Batista's limitations, especially this time. He was still kind of early in his career. I will say the story going into it is, as we all know, one of the best long-term storytellings they've ever done with Batista eventually, turning on Evolution or whatever. And it was the right decision. Batista goes over, wins the title, the way it should be. So for that, I think they still told a good story. Triple H carried it well, made Batista look really strong. I'll go B tier, kind of in Jericho Triple H territory, because I think the crowd was also, they were into it, but they were again kind of exhausted by the time they got there because you had a lot of really good matches, especially after Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels was so great right under that. So, but I'll still go low B.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I agree with what you said about the WrestleMania as a whole. I think this one doesn't get talked about in terms of the upper tiers of WrestleMania because it's got a lot of really good stuff, especially that Kurt Angle Shawn Michaels match. Oh my goodness, how long was Shawn Michaels in that ankle lock before he finally had to tap? That I thought was great.
That match is so good. It's one of my favorites WrestleMania matches.
Everybody always talks about Shawn and Undertaker in those two matches. Why does this one get oddly forgotten with him and Angle? That match is amazing. I don't know why. Like it's like I won't say it gets swept on the rug, but I think people.
I think just because it's a mid card for no title that it kind of gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that match. And then they had a 30-minute Iron Man on Raw that while it ends in a tie, I still think is incredible. And I think the tie actually works. But as far as Triple H Batista, like again, like everything in that tier, I think it's decent. I think it does its job. I'm entertained. If if it was on, I'd watch it. So yeah, I think B tier is a solid place for Batista Triple H. JPO.
Yeah, no, I'm with B as well. Kind of as you guys have said, everything around it is just very solid. You know what I mean? The build-up's very good here. The outcome is correct. You know what I mean? Unlike Booker T, Triple H, the outcome is correct. So like everything kind of just checks the boxes. The only thing that doesn't is that, kind of like Pat said, like Batista's not exactly a 5-star guy right now. So the match itself is very doable, but again, not next level to where I could say anything higher than a B. But I'd even say it's like the top of the B's for me.
Richie?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like the build up to the match is amazing. Amazing. I think it's one of the best babyface turns ever. Like it's probably up there for me until the Sami Zayn turn recently. It's probably 1 or 2 for me. Yeah, it's just, I think the actual build up is phenomenal. But yeah, the match is good. But yeah, like Batista couldn't do what he could do. He'd get better later on. It's amazing that he actually got good because he started wrestling pretty late. So I really, I think Batista is still underrated as a wrestler. I like Batista a lot. This match is fine. So I think B is a good spot for it.
All right. I like how we've pretty much been in agreement all night. That's why we're
minor quibbles here and there, with but mostly the quibbles are about like mid-tier matches,
right?
Not so much the great ones. It's like the ones that are overwhelmingly bad or overwhelmingly good were usually.
Are you giving Bret and Yoko from '93 a C because it's Bret and Yoko and not because of Hogan? How'd you guys do that?
Yeah, we did Bret and Yoko, not the
Hogan.
Okay, because otherwise it's way too high. Okay, I got you.
Because Bret and Yoko was still, as we said, the advertised main event.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure you guys were giving credit to Hogan.
And that match is very impromptu, so we don't really it's a muddy territory, but it is what it is.
No, that's fine. As long as Bret and Yoko's getting the credit.
Now,
and like I said, I didn't make this chart.
Well, and we agreed that both matches have shitty finishes. So
yeah. And if we're rating the WrestleMania for the Hogan thing, it'd be probably an F. That WrestleMania is terrible.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
But we're moving into WrestleMania 22, and I think this match is interesting because we have John Cena and Triple H, and I forget. I don't know if Triple H is full heel, if he's a tweener at this point, but the crowd is really behind Triple H in this match.
Yeah,
it was almost Rock Hogan in that sense, where there's a clear baby face here, the guy they're supposed to be cheering for, but the crowd's like, we don't care, we don't want John Cena to win. We're gonna cheer Triple H. They did the boo cheer at one point where they were doing the fists, and the cheers were very clearly in Triple H's favor. And I actually I had time before we went live to rewatch a couple, and this was one that I chose, and this was actually a lot better than I remember. I don't know if the crowd was playing a part in it, and the fact that they were so into it was, upping my level of enjoyment. But I enjoyed this match so much more than I remember enjoying it the first time. I thought it was really good. Triple H once again submitting. People say Triple H doesn't put people over. This is his third WrestleMania main event loss in a row. So let's just put that to bed.
I know. We just all wish he had done it to Booker T. That's all.
Yeah. That's
Let's extend that one more and give one to Booker T.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see where you guys are, but I have this in the A tier. I thought it was really good. JPO?
Yeah, I was kind of borderline myself on like high B, low A. I'll go with you and say low A for me here. Yeah, I thought this was one of the first real signs of really giving it to Cena now as the main eventer here, and I think Triple H is a good foe again, maybe because we've seen it before, but there's matches that I'm into more, but it's solid, and I think it's there's probably a reason why this was the main event. So yeah, I'll go with low A.
Richie?
Yeah. I like the match. I think the build up was weird to this match, where basically Triple H, the whole build up was Triple H going, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy because he's not a good wrestler. I'm like, I don't know if you want to mention that you're the guy main eventing your WrestleMania is not a good wrestler, because like I think that's a blowback. The fans were starting to blow back because it was like, oh, he's gonna be jammed in our throat sort of thing, but I don't know. Yeah, but I thought the match was pretty good. I think Cena is pretty underrated in general. I don't think he is as good, better wrestler as the crowd would make him out to be sometimes. Probably like a lower tier A. I'd almost say B, but I'm fine with the A.
All right, Austin.
This is a B tier match that gets into A tier because of the atmosphere of the crowd. This is a perfect example of a good match that becomes great because of how much the crowd is into it and how unexpected it was. I remember watching this live, and when they came out and they're going face to face and the crowd is 100% behind Triple H, I was like, oh, okay, so it's going to be one of those matches. Interesting. I wonder if they're going to pivot and like call on the audibles, because Triple H can. He's a worker that can pivot and call stuff in the ring if he needs to. And I think it feels like they did at some points, while still keeping the same finish. But yeah, it's a good match that becomes great because of the crowd. So I'll go A-, on that.
Yeah. And this was the first WrestleMania I remember where the entrances, like John Cena and Triple H's entrances for this match were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Triple H switches entrance music like halfway through. They do the whole Al Capone thing.
Is that the scene when CM Punk was up? When CM Punk was on the, I think CM Punk was on one of the.
Punk was on the truck. Yeah.
First WrestleMania appearance.
It's like DDP driving the Cadillac.
Yeah. All right, so JBL, we'll go back down to you for another John Cena main event. This time facing the other member of DX and Shawn Michaels.
I'm gonna go in and say this is another A match for me here. I think these two had really good chemistry. Only reason I don't think it kind of gets into the S is because, again, I think it's very face. Although I think this is about as good as you can get when you're kind of not really against either guy and you're kind of like, all right. But they put on a good match here. They also had some great ones on Raw. I also didn't, and as much as a Shawn fan, I never really saw him having much of a chance of winning. So again, that's the only reason I don't think it's quite in the S. But I think it's a damn fine match. So I'm gonna say A.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, I'm going to say A as well. I think this was Cena's best match up to this point. I thought it was really solid, and I think they'd have a really good match on Raw as well after this. But yeah, it was really good, and I think you could credit to Shawn Michaels, but for those people who say John Cena can't wrestle, watch this match. They're both really good here, and I think it's a really solid match. So I have no problem getting A. I would actually put it above almost put it above the, in terms of work rate. I put it above the Triple H Cena match, but I get why it might, maybe you put it a bit below that. But yeah,
I would put it above.
Yeah.
Austin.
Solid A tier. I think right in the middle. Solid A. Yeah, this is one that I'd kind of forgotten about. It was one of the ones I rewatched this week. I just forgotten about this match entirely. So if you had pressed me on what was the main event of WrestleMania 23, I probably couldn't have told you off the top of my head. I was like, what? Oh yeah, that's right. It was kind of face Michaels and Cena. But yeah, again, the crowd's really good. Has a great final, like 5-10 minutes. It's really, really good. And they would have a match that I would argue was almost as good in England. The one they had on
Yeah,
Raw
that
was
was
really good
really
as
good.
well. It was that was a longer match too. But yeah, really solid A match. I think it's pretty damn good. So yeah, I'll give it an A for sure.
Yeah, I think that match on Raw was it PWI's match of the year?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of the higher ones. Yeah.
And I like that one too because they, were advertising. I think it was Edge and Orton later on in the night,
Yeah.
but they just didn't have time because Cena and
It went
Michaels
like
went an
15
hour.
minutes. Oh yeah, almost an hour, something like that. Or
I
an
kind
hour.
of wish they would do that more. Like, yeah, and if we have time, this match is scheduled. But no, I'm in agreement here with A. I don't know why, but for the longest time, I thought Batista and Undertaker main evented this WrestleMania.
Mm.
I don't know
They're
why I
like
thought that.
they're like third or fourth on the card
Yeah,
or
they're
something
like
like
mid.
that.
They're
Yeah.
middle of the card. I was like, oh, okay. I definitely remembered that wrong. Of course, John Cena, Shawn Michaels is the main event.
Still probably Batista's best match. That's actually decent. That's an underrated Undertaker match.
Yeah, it's really good too. Yeah, WrestleMania 23 is another one. Like I think, yeah, the like 21, 22, 23 are all kind of on that same level for me, where they're just all really good WrestleManias, with some really good matches. And yeah, and this main event is no different. I am in complete agreement with A. So we'll move on. WrestleMania 24. We have Edge and the Undertaker. Richie, what are your thoughts on this one?
Cool. Just so you know, I'll probably get up to Cena and Miz, and I'll have to go. But yeah, this is underrated. I reckon. I think this was when I put the I thought this. I think this match is really good. I think it kind of gets almost forgotten about when Undertaker's sort of streak here. I think this match is really is awesome. It's not quite S tier or anything like that, but I think it's a solid A. I think this match is great. So yeah.
Okay. Austin?
I might surprise people. I'm gonna go low S tier on this one. I think this match is
Ooh.
fucking awesome. I think this match is great. I think it's one of Edge's best matches ever. I think he's really, really good. I think the storytelling is great in this one. Maybe I'm a bit biased because it was my first live WrestleMania. I was there for this match, and the crowd was super into it, even after the Sean Flair stuff and everything else on the card. This crowd was super into this. The entrances were epic. Everything was epic. It was really good. But man, I think these guys took it to another level. I think it's pretty damn great. I'm gonna go like it's not like high S tier, but I'm gonna go low S tier for Edge and Undertaker 24.
Yeah. I think this match is great. I'd probably have it high A, like the top of the A, because I think it's really well worked. So it was like the first time since I think Orton where I thought, hey, Undertaker's gonna lose, right? I think they told a really good story. I think the action was incredible. So yeah, I'm gonna go at the top of A. Jordan.
Yeah, it's definitely an A for me, man. Yeah, this is several great years in a row that might end very soon here. But yeah, this one's really good. Really fun seeing Edge in the main event, and he fucking lives up to it, man. Outside of Shawn, maybe the best Undertaker match. Yeah, it's an A.
And Richie, you started that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Austin for not Undertaker Shawn. That one didn't main event, but Triple H and Randy Orton did. What are your thoughts on this?
I wish we were talking about that match instead because this match is boring. This match is pretty damn dull. I don't know. This is one where, it's one of those things where I think they should have read the crowd, read the storytelling, and looked at the card and said, yeah, maybe Mr. WrestleMania and the Street Guy WrestleMania should probably main event this one, even though it's not for the title. That may have been Triple H's booking prowess getting in the way. You know what I mean? I just think it's like it suffers because of that, because the crowd's exhausted again by this one, much like the Triple H Chris Jericho match. Um, it's not like as bad as Psycho Sid matches. You know what I mean? But like, I'm still gonna put this in D tier. I don't think it's a very good match. I think they had better matches at other shows and things, and this is just really disappointing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. It's a disappointing main event, and that part of that is having to follow Undertaker Shawn, which I think there were a couple of other matches before this one too that were kind of hurt by that, because I think Undertaker Shawn was like
Undertaker Shawn, the triple threat for the heavyweight, and then this.
Yeah.
I remember being exhausted when I was watching it live, just like when they finally got to this, like, yeah, just and looking back on it, you're just like, man, I want to shut this thing off. We already saw what's easily going to be the best match of the show. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I'm done. So
now, if we were doing a tier ranker of the build up, I would put it much higher, because I think the build up
I disagree.
But the match itself, I think, yeah, it's disappointing. It's dull. It's boring. I'm gonna agree with the D tier.
This was also around the time where Triple H then was like the Edge now. It's like, if I'm on the card, I'm gonna have the longest match.
Yeah.
Well, that's the sad part, because this is not the longest match, but it sure does feel like it.
It feels
like I thought this went into the 30s. It's actually only 23 evidently.
Yeah, it feels like a 40-minute match.
I thought this was in the 30s. Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you guys. This is a D because of the build-up. This match gets hurt too, because you're just having a regular wrestling match. This dude's invading your home. This should have been no DQ. This should have been Hell in a Cell. Plus, I would have at least made it different. You can't out wrestle Undertaker and Shawn. Like, bad idea. Like, you know what I mean? Then you have another triple threat, which is kind of a normal match. Then this and that. By the time you get to this, you're like, I've seen it all, and I've seen it done better. You know what I mean? This should have been no DQ. This should have been last man standing. Something, man. But yeah, this, as it is, it's long, it's boring. It doesn't fit the feud. It's a D.
Yeah, I'm with the consensus here. Yeah, I think the build-up was pretty bad. Yeah, you have babyface Triple H invade a home and scaring Randy Orton's not wife,
committing multiple felonies.
They hide Randy Orton's fake wife, and then throw him to a window, and then like they wrestled a normal match, and it was boring. It's just like, yeah, like for for a thing that heated, and especially because you've been feuding on and off since 2004. So like, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like 2004. You think that maybe you'd have some stakes to it. Oh no, we're gonna wrestle a normal match. No, So yeah, this match is boring. So yeah, I'll go D.
Yeah. All right. So we go from one of the worst to one of the best. Career versus streak.
I think they learned. Do you think they learned their lesson from the year before and put them on in the main event?
Yeah,
I think they did because
John Cena and Batista was the semi-main, and they still put on a good match. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think they realized their lesson and were like, yeah, maybe we should let these guys do their thing in the main. Build up to that.
Yeah, this is an easy S tier for me as well. I think this is one of the few instances where the best match of the night was the main event. I think this is absolutely S tier. The build was S tier. The match, the closing moments, the aftermath. I think everything about this is just nearly perfection. So I think this is another easy S tier. JPO.
OMFNG. Yeah, dude, this is S tier all day, every day, twice on Sunday. This is still Romanians were on a Sunday. So yeah, no, I love it. You know what I mean? I mentioned before, Shawn and Cena having a good face match. This is the best epitome of just two guys. There really is no heel here. Just having a fantastic clinic. Both Mania matches are awesome. I flip flop all the time. That's what I like better. Usually I go with this, but that's hard to say, man. Absolutely S tier.
Richie?
Yeah, no, this is absolutely S tier. It's amazing. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, this was phenomenal. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know where I'd rank it as far as the other three that are there. That's difficult. But yeah, it's a phenomenal match. Also, probably my second favorite like video package and build up like that. The placebo's cover of running up that hill, the Kate Bush song. Like it fits so good in this. Yeah, it's a phenomenal video package. Go watch it. But yeah, it's a phenomenal match and just it's fantastic. So yeah, definitely yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's people that some have the first match better than the second. I go back and forth, but I like the story of this match even a little bit more, just because it's Shawn Michaels fighting for literally his career, and just pulling out not holding anything back. He's doing moonsaults to the outside. He's fucking diving all over the place. He's hitting as many sweet chin musics as he possibly can. You know what I mean? He's just throwing everything at him. Trying to do it, and it just feels like a final match or something. Like it's really, really good. And yeah, this is an easy S tier, 100%. Yeah, easy. I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about it, but yeah, we'll see.
Oh, I've kind of been keeping track of votes in my head too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have them written down. Well, I mean, these are all the ones in the S tier are like, I think all but one are like clean sweeps, but we'll talk
Yeah.
about that. I'm still doing my literal tier ranker chart I do for everything, but it hasn't been that difficult because most of us are in consensus for most of them, so it's not
Right.
too much controversy. But we might have to be nitpicky when we actually come to that stuff.
When we're ranking that S tier.
Yeah.
All right, this will be the last one I'll do. I have to bump off, but yeah,
Wow.
good fun.
What a bad one to end on, Richie.
I know. I mean, I already
Should-
had in my head what I was going to.
should end it right now before we talk about this match, and
No. I want to shit on this match. That's why I was kind of.
All right. Yeah, go. Why don't you go first then? Go since you got to go.
All right, cool. Well, this match is a D, because all this match was is an advertisement for next year, which is Cena in the Rock. I like the Miz as a character. He shouldn't be anywhere near the main event of WrestleMania. And this match, this match was hurt by the fact that Miz got a massive concussion halfway through the match, and and they had to. I don't even believe he barely knew where he was when the match finished. And yeah, it was just all the crowd cared was The Rock, and then The Rock hit the rock bottom, and then Miz won, and yeah.
Isn't this the WrestleMania where The Rock came out like 85 fucking times? Like
He was a host, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like every other damn segment he was like doing some shit. I remember getting tired of it by the end of the show, honestly. Like I was just over and then he did that extended like flamethrower bit on this thing.
Yeah,
like, oh my god, it just takes forever. Like, ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, this main event sucks. I think the Miz did a good job with what he was given, but he's not a main event dude. The match wasn't good, and yeah, it was just an advertisement for next year. So, and yeah, I would have been pissed off if I was in the crowd. Okay, you're just building up for next year, cool. And the match was So I think D is a good spot for it.
Yeah.
I'll see. I'll hear your thoughts for it.
Okay.
No, it's a D. This is a Raw match. It's a Raw match that has The Rock in it. D. I mean, but it's
Hey, he's skipping me.
but it's technically better than everything else.
No, it's okay. We'll go back to you first for the next one, and then don't
I
worry.
was so excited to talk about this one.
You'll get to talk about it because
You can, because I got fucking nothing to say about this match. It's a fucking Raw match.
and you guys are giving it a D. I'm giving it an F. I hate this match. I think it is so boring. I don't think the action is good. I hate that it's a setup, for Roxy. Nobody cared about Cena Miz. Nobody. And I'm a Miz defender. I thought Miz deserved that championship. But the way they treated him, the way they treated this match, and it was just, hey, all we care about is Rock Cena because that's where the money is. I'm like, oh my, this is a mess. Even the match itself before Rock got involved was not good. It felt very sloppy. I'd give this an F. Jordan.
I've got to bounce these votes out. S. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a D, and I'll tell you why it's a D, Jacob. That video package for the match is pretty damn good. Well edited, get you
That's true.
get you
It is.
excited, and then the match happened.
I do like the video before Miz's entrance too. I
Yeah, I like the Miz's entrance.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everything leading up to it's not too shabby. But yeah, now like you guys said, this is basically just to get to next year. The Miz unfortunately has not touched the main event since, which is maybe there's a reason for that. So yeah, it's not good. It is kind of just it's very meh. Even as a Raw main event, I would have wanted my money back if I was in the audience.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Richie, he got anything coming up in the near future?
No, well, just trivia. We'll look at Telma streaming. That we've got some stuff going on there on Tuesdays. Debates got stuff coming up there, so check that out. I think my match with Chris just went up I think last week, so check that out. And then other than that, I'll be back here next week when we're doing our Dream WrestleMania card, so that should be fun.
Yes, WrestleMania cards and predictions.
Cool. Well, yeah.
Hopefully the card will be a set by then.
Yeah, hopefully. My God, they need to get some damn matches out there this week. to start out. It's WrestleMania, for God's sakes. Announce everything already. What are you waiting for?
I forgot Tiffany Haddish was at SummerSlam 2021.
Later, Richie. All right, so Jordan, we'll go back down to you first this time. I know you were
once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime, part one.
Part one.
Yeah. And this is one I was actually there for. This is my first live Mania here to see Rock and Cena. It'll never happen again. Never, ever, ever. Yeah. The next night that they're teasing, they're going to do it again. I'll say B. I think it to a degree lives up to the hype here. I don't think anyone was necessarily expecting it to be more than a B. At least for me, because The Rock's barely wrestling at this point. He does. I think it hurt kind of early on. So. But I think they do a good job working through it here, and it still tells an interesting enough story to where I definitely didn't hate it. So I'm saying B.
Awesome.
A little bit of a spoiler. I think both these matches are kind of a B because they're both kind of similar. And it's like we're going to do some stuff, some crowd work, yada, yada, until we do our 8,000 finisher sequence at the end for both matches. Like we're each going to hit 1,000 finishers over and over again, and that's going to be like our home stretch. These are the two matches where I felt like, the kind of formula they've been doing now for like the last 10 years, where it's just like all the big matches, it's just kind of boring until they get to the finishing stretch of finishers that don't mean anything anymore. So, I mean, it's good for spectacle. Crowd's more into this one, I think, than the second one, if I remember right. I remember the second one, people being kind of, over because it wasn't special like the first one was, because they went back on the once in a lifetime thing. But again, another case of the best match on the show was the Triple H Undertaker Hell in a Cell. I stole the show with one of the best false finishes ever. But yeah, it's like B. I mean, it's technically better than some of the stuff in there. So I put it like mid B.
Yeah, I'm putting this one also at a B. It's decent. It does the job. It's an entertaining main event, and I think the action is solid enough that I liked what I saw, and I thought Rock going over was a good choice. I think it was a weird year for Cena, 2012. He lost a lot. It was a very, very down year. Super Cena wasn't very super. But yeah, no, this match was good. And yeah, we'll get into the next one too. Austin, you kind of already where you put it.
I just think they're kind of both matches are kind of the same. I mean, it's like they're interchangeable. They're basically the same. It's just they work the same match both times. I think one of them, Rock got hurt during one of them, right?
This one, the second one.
Yeah, like he like blew his shoulder out or something like that, and
I forgot that was the first one.
yeah. So I mean, so I mean, they did this one. I think the crowd again wasn't as into it because of the story of it, because they were just doing it again, and they ended up having a similar match. Fun overall, entertaining, yes, still B tier. So yeah, we get it.
Yeah, I'm there too. I think for me, I would actually, because he was working it injured, and he got injured pretty early on in the match too, and proceeded to go probably, I think it was like nearly a half hour. Um, so shout out to The Rock, you freak, you. Um, I but yeah, still be similar match. Uh, I liked it. I was entertained. Got what I wanted out of it. B tier.
Mhm.
Jordan.
I'm actually gonna go lower. I'm gonna say C tier. For multiple reasons you guys kind of already addressed. One, it is a rematch that basically lied to us. That does honestly bother me to this day. Like, just don't hardcore sell the fact that it's the once in a lifetime when it's complete bullshit. I think that is kind of low, and because it is so similar to the last one here, it wasn't necessarily a rematch that we needed here. Undertaker and Shawn brought something different the second time they wrestled. These two didn't. The fact that he gets injured does bring down the match. And then the fact that too that it's just very very obvious that Cena's going to win, so we can get his win back. Just everything was similar to last year, just a little bit lower.
Still waiting for that thrice in a lifetime.
Well, when Cody loses in Mania, and Roman's like, "Who else is left?" And then Brock comes out and goes, "I'll see you next year."
Oh goodness! Don't say that. That's gonna happen. All right, so we got another triple threat this time. Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Batista from 30. Uh, I might be in the minority on this one. I'm going S tier. I think this match is really good. Um, I think Daniel Bryan had two incredible matches at WrestleMania 30. The opener with Triple H, and then this one. I'll admit I'm also going S tier because of the moment it created, and the fans were immensely behind Daniel Bryan. They wanted to see this. It's one of those things where the ending is so predictable, like it's it's gonna happen, but like you're still waiting for it to happen, and when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. But dang it, am I like one of the happiest I've been? It might be also biased because Daniel Bryan is a a home state guy from the state of Washington. Um, you know, hometown is about an hour away from where I am. I've mentioned that before.
You guys hang out.
No, he's a little older than I am.
It's the only reason you don't hang out.
We didn't know each other. I think he graduated high school like when I was in middle school, or not even middle school, probably elementary school. But yeah, I think the match definitely is a lot better, and I could see it being brought down because for the moments where it's just Orton and Batista. But I think anytime Daniel Bryan is involved, it is incredible. You know, he was so over. He even got Michael Cole on his side.
Mhm.
I'm going S tier. I wouldn't be surprised if it was brought down, but it's nice seeing it there for a moment. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if Paz agrees to let it stay, but yeah, I'm gonna say A just because of kind of what you said. There is lulls in the match here, and like, I don't know, I probably prefer just the singles, but they actually do pretty well. It's a decent triple threat, and the moment is fantastic. Like you said, it's the moment we had kind of hoped and wanted, and we got it, and that's why it's definitely an A for me at the very least.
I think it's gonna be those situations where remember how like I put Edge and Undertaker in S tier and nobody else did. Yeah, this might be yours, Jacob. I'm still gonna give it an A plus. I think I think it's really good. The one thing holding me back is the shenanigans in this match and the stretchering out of Bryan. I just think it's unnecessary. I think you could have them stacking the deck against him, beating the hell out of him, and still have him be out there. You could have put him through the announcer's table. I don't know, something to where he's still there. I don't like the fact they wheel him out and bring him back. I think it's just a old tropey, to take a movie term, an old tropey thing that they do that I don't really like that they do that. I've never been a fan of that spot. It's just too predictable. So if it wasn't for that, I'd probably put it in S tier because of the crowd, because of the atmosphere, because of the moment. It was definitely a way to get everybody cheered up after the really boring ass Undertaker Brock match that ended up, being the one that broke the streak. Yeah, which is a moment, but when you go back, I remember even at the time that match being really, really bad. And like something off about it. So you almost wish just because of that you could have had the Batista or the Triple H Undertaker Hell in a Cell be the one that ended the streak, just because it's a way better match. But it is what it is. So yeah, I'll give it an A plus, Jacob. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine
So yeah.
because we've. Yeah, I don't know. Top of A, bottom of S. As long as it's
Well, it's funny. We're not
technically
doing the
still
thing
top
we
10.
usually do on Tier Ranker, where it's like we got to have like a top 10, unless you want to. And we
No,
don't.
we'll just.
You
I
know,
think we'll just see what ends
Yes.
up in the S, and then whatever's
Top
in the
10.
S, we
And
can
then-
rank it.
and then it would. But yeah, by the way, this is a really underrated WrestleMania too. WrestleMania 30 is really good. By the way, pretty like there's a lot of good matches on there.
From the Silver Dome.
The Superdome,
Oh, right.
the New Orleans Superdome. The Silver Dome is the Detroit one.
No, it was a callback to the opening when Hulk Hogan opens and calls it the Silver Dome.
Oh right, yeah.
Great open, like before the opening match. Great opening with Hogan, Austin, and Rock. I like the opening.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Now we get to we see Roman and Lesnar pictured, but we all know what happens. It's the heist of the century, as Michael Cole called it. Seth Rollins cashing his money in the bank towards the end. So, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but unlike WrestleMania 9, where we didn't have to include Yokozuna and Hulk Hogan because it wasn't advertised. We kind of have to include the Rollins part because that's the match. Jordan, what are your thoughts on the WrestleMania 31 main event?
Thank God that third person got in there, because this is why it's gonna be another A for me. Yeah, these two by themselves don't necessarily do a lot for me here. We'll talk about them later. But I think just the moment of finding the best cash in that we've ever had, the smartest cash in, and again, just a really great moment of seeing another guy kind of like a Daniel Bryan in a way of just an independent guy that weren't necessarily sure they were going to give the ball to, and they did. So A.
Awesome.
Pretty much the same boat. Yeah, it's kind of a B match until Rollins came in for the big surprise, added some spice to it, and bumped it up to an A. And because the moment's great. Crowd pops big for it. They love it. And, coming in there, and why the fuck not? It's WrestleMania. Cash in, do your thing. And yeah, I mean, he adds a nice little element to it. And overall, it's a really, really good match. But yeah, I'd still put a couple of the other ones in A above it. But yeah, I'll still put it in A too.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think the stuff between Brock and Roman was a B. It was decent. It was better than I expected because, I don't think at this point Roman was the best singles guy, and Lesnar was at the point where he was just throwing people around. But yeah, once Rollins cashed in, which I'd kind of forgotten about Rollins because he lost to Orton earlier in the night. With probably one of the greatest RKOs ever. So I kind of forgot about him, and I wasn't expecting him to cash in. I kind of thought, all right, well, he lost at Mania, he'll cash in tomorrow, and have a Raw after Mania moment. But no, he cashes in during the main event, and it is still like one of my if we were ranking just moments, I think that's S tier. But since we're ranking the overall match, I think that bumps it up to the A tier for me as well. So yeah, we'll leave that in the A tier, and we'll move on to Triple H and Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 32. I almost felt myself going to sleep just saying that.
My God, this match is so boring.
Yeah. Well, Austin, we start with you. Or no? Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's. I'm tempted to put it in F tier. I'm really fucking tempted, but you got two guys who can work way. Again, it's like I saved that for the the Sid matches, the shit on that level. So it's not quite there, but it's like in the same realm as that Triple H Randy Orton match. Just really long, really dull, just not great. Like D minus. It just skirts out of it just because there's some okay work rate in there. You know what I mean? But like it's this match is painfully boring.
Yeah, I think the only part I remember about this match is Triple H running. I think this is. Might be confusing it with the Rollins match, or maybe they did it in both matches, where Triple H runs into Stephanie and knocks her down. I don't know if she went through a table in this one or just got knocked down.
She just gets knocked down because I think the other one is the one where she goes to the table. I think the Rollins one is when she does. Yeah.
So the fact that that's the only thing I remember from the match, and I don't even remember it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
D tier.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Nah, definitely a D tier as well here. The build-up's okay, between the Rumble and stuff. But yeah, at this point, I'm sorry. This is the kind of main event that I don't love at WrestleMania, where I'm over Triple H by now. Don't necessarily think he needs to be in a main event. Not totally in love with Roman Reigns at this point in time. The match is overly long and just not spectacular. You know what I mean? I would maybe say C if this was Backlash or Judgment Day. This is Mania. This is a D.
Yeah. Our third Roman Reigns main event in a row.
Not the last.
The less I have to say about this, the better.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I think if this was supposed to be Undertaker's last match, which clearly it's not, because as you can see,
he's below, picture below.
Yeah. I don't think Roman was the choice. Maybe a heel Roman. Like if we had heel Roman now in 20, what was it?
Current Roman, yeah, like head of the table Roman.
Yeah. Then
this was like
but
generic as fuck. Everybody's tired of Roman. Yeah, just.
Yeah, and it started because he eliminated him from the Royal Rumble, which that's how a lot of Mania feuds start. Let's eliminate him from the Royal Rumble. What? Hey, now I'm gonna get you.
How dare you?
The only thing I remember from this match,
if that's the case,
Roman running.
If that was the case, Maven and Undertaker should have had a WrestleMania match. You know what I mean? If that's how
we got Ric Flair.
Jeez, what a step down!
I know, right? If that's what you're basing your WrestleMania feud on, then there's so many matches that had more iconic, like Royal Rumble moments. You know what I mean? That should have been like a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I do like that they did it with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins this year, though.
Sure. But they're also not in the main event. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
But yeah, the only thing I remember from this match is the end when Roman runs the ropes like 4 times before he spears the Undertaker for the third time.
Because this one's gonna extra hurt.
Yeah. This sorry, Undertaker. You're one of my favorites, but like this, no, your last great WrestleMania match was with CM Punk. And that was 4 years before this one. So yeah, no, I'm going F. I do not like this match. I think it's definitely the worst Roman match, the worst Undertaker match in my opinion. Probably up there with Gonzalez and whatever.
Oh no.
I don't like this match. I'm going F tier. It disappoints me more than the ones in the D tier. Yeah. So Jordan.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is my second of 2 Mania main events I've been to, and as soon as the bell rang, me and my dad were like, "Want to get the fuck out of here? Yeah, let's go." So I missed the whole hat thing, which is fine because now it ended up meaning nothing anyway, because he ended up wrestling later anyway. It's a D. Yeah, there's some moments in here, but yeah, Roman's not the right guy. You know what I mean? You need somebody either like a Shawn or like a CM Punk if you're gonna kind of have him face someone that's kind of a face, or a really good heel. Instead, you give us Roman that no one really wanted, and the match is sloppy. Taker's not in the best shape right now. There's some botches. It's not a main event either. There's title matches on this card that could have been the main event. This didn't need to be. This is one of those ones where they just did it because of Taker, and because they wanted to shove Roman down our throats. So yeah, it's a D.
Awesome.
F. That sucks.
Damn.
It's
poor Taker. What a legend. He's got 2 Fs.
Was this Orlando? Was this Orlando as well?
Yeah.
Okay, this should tell you something. I went to that Mania and I forgot I went to that Mania.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching, because Taker left his boots in the ring and they cleaned up all the shit around it, like left his boots in the ring for like 30 minutes and shit like that. And people were kind of hanging around and getting shoot out of the building and shit like that.
Dude, I was in my hotel by the time that happened.
yeah, that's what it's like. It should tell you that I remember way more about the WrestleMania 24 one, the Ric Flair stuff, than I do about this. You know what I mean? Like, it should tell you a lot because I had almost forgotten I saw this match live, and yeah, we were all just kind of waiting for the finish. That's pretty bad when we're just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting, and it was a long night, long Mania, and then we were all just like, "Yep, here goes Roman, another spear, and can you just pin him already? Like, can just get it over with?" And we were just like done with it. It's just. So yeah, it's F. It's not good. It was even longer live. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now we get to a rematch between the only 2 guys to beat Undertaker at WrestleMania: Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. I believe this is
match I feel like we've seen like 900 times at this point. Yeah.
Jordan, what are your thoughts on this one?
This is another D for me, man. I mean, I could maybe argue to a C, but again, I'm at the point now where this doesn't scream Mania to me. You know what I mean? We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Brock has certain people that bring out the best of him. Roman's not necessarily in that tier. It's 15-minute main event too, so again, it doesn't scream Mania to me here. And this WrestleMania in general is actually not that great. I'm looking at 34, and it's kind of a mixed bag here.
Yeah.
So a lot of mid stuff here. This is the Undertaker 3-minute match with Cena. This is Jinder Mahal winning a U.S. title. But yeah, this is a D for me. It's not a Mania main event. It's again, this is the typical here's the 2 guys that we like.
Yeah, these were the couple of years where I was really checked out of WWE. Like, I wasn't really following it very much, and because they were just doing shit like this that I just had no interest in. And this match is like every other big man match they have now. It's just each guy just hitting finisher after finisher after finisher after finisher, and it's not interesting. It's not good, especially when the guys can work better than that. And yeah, it just didn't feel like a big match. It felt like a match we've seen before, a match we've gotten many times since. Yeah, so it's in that D level where it's just like meh. I mean, there's worse things out there, but meh.
Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't tell you what happened in this match. That didn't happen in any other
every other
Brock
match they've
Lesnar
ever had.
match. So
Yeah.
D, yeah,
Yep.
I'm in agreement.
So I think the Goldberg Brock Lesnar match was better than this.
Goldberg and Brock Lesnar surprised me because it was like
at least they went all out and they went fucking crazy and they sprinted and they tore the barriers up and the steps up. They're just tearing everything. And there's like a warpath, like 2 bulldozers. You know what I mean? Like, at least they went and tried to do something different a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking of Goldberg, I can't wait to see Goldberg and Sting in AEW.
Okay,
it's gonna happen. Goldberg is a free agent.
Oh God!
Is
that why people were posting memes about that?
Yeah,
oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And speaking of Sting, Sting imitating Orange Cassidy is probably the best thing I've seen this week.
I'm all for Goldberg if he just pulls a Big Show and disappears on Dark every once in a while. That's all I care. That's all I want. Or Mark Henry, he gets a Rampage segment where he gets 2 lines every week.
He's gonna squash QT Marshall.
Fine, cool. Just don't do anything more.
So we get into the first.
AEW has enough people on their roster where you could recreate the WCW streak. That's for damn sure. There's 190 people on that roster that most of them never appear on main television.
Yeah. He's going to be the one to end Jade's streak.
Yeah.
Oh God, what? Yeah, put him on Dark, put him on Elevation just every week. Let him kill somebody. And Helico, Serpentico, Luther. You got plenty of people.
All the members of the Evil Uno and all those Chikara
Yeah,
guys,
Dark
all those
Order.
fucking guys, yeah.
Dark
Like,
Order
squash
1,
them
Dark
all.
Order 2.
Squash them all. Yeah.
That was funny though. On BT, they had Stu Grayson come back, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm back. Where's Colt? Where's Anna? Where's Alan Angels? Where's yeah? Let's just have her group's gone."
All right. We're getting there. WrestleMania 35, the first main event to feature the women of WWE. We've got Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and a winner take all for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Austin, I believe we're starting with you on this one.
I thought it was a pretty good match, and it was interesting to have the women close the show out. I don't know if people predicted that or not. I can't remember. But yeah, I thought they worked their asses off in this match. And while I think the only thing that holds me down from putting this in the A tier is the really abrupt finish. It just kind of ends, very out of nowhere. I'll still put it in a B tier because I think they had a lot of pressure on them, but still delivered a really solid work rate match. So I'll give it a B. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better. I think everything leading up to the finish was an A, and then it just kind of ended.
It just ends, and it's really weird. I remember even watching it live, just being like, "Wait, what? That's
I think we thought that, the crowd thought that. It just really, really weird ending. So I'm at a B. Jordan,
When are we gonna get Gable Stevenson finally to wrestle? Oh, what the fuck is taking that guy so long?
2025.
Jesus, he's here summer. They're hyping him in SummerSlam 2021. Anywho, just had asked about that. No, this is I agree with the B as well here. Fantastic. Breaking the ceiling. Having women in the main event here. I wish it was just Becky and Charlotte. I felt like that was where the juice was at, but maybe Ronda's the star power, so that's another way to kind of argue why it should be main event. So, and yeah, the ending also really does hold it back because it feels either botched or rushed, or like they're trying to give it to Becky without making Ronda look bad, and it's a very like yeah, like it's a very stilted kind of like fan reaction because you're like, I think we're good, okay, cool, yay.
She just won. She won.
Yeah,
she
like because you
won.
want Becky,
Okay.
like this is
Okay.
the man Becky hotness, and it just felt like it should have been a really like punched in ending that we didn't get to, which holds it back a little bit as well. But still, match is fine. The build up, the iconicness of it being the first women's main event. So yeah, B.
Yeah. And then we're getting into the pandemic mania.
Yeah.
And
we're getting to the two for manias. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first of three 2-night WrestleManias. First night main evented by The Undertaker and AJ Styles in a Boneyard match. And I'll be honest with you, no, that's not where I'm leaving it. Don't worry. I'm going A. I think because we weren't sure what we were going to get. And we see The Undertaker kind of, because, AJ's been calling him Mark. He's been mentioning his wife, making The Undertaker seem more human. And so what did we get? We got a more human Undertaker. It was a cinematic match, which, I think clearly you had to make it be that, and it worked, and it was very surprising because I wasn't sure what we were going to get. I think storytelling it was really solid. Felt like almost like an episode of a TV show that I was watching. I don't know what TV show that would be, but it was really good. Definitely the better of the main events for WrestleMania 36. I definitely would go back to this one before the one we'll talk about next. I thought this was really solid, really surprising, and really fun. So I'm going to go A tier for the Boneyard match. Jordan?
I'm not surprised that you gave it an A. The little bit of Jim Cornette in me is coming out. I can only give it a B. One aspect I look at when I look at these dual manias is if this was just a one nighter, this is not going to be a main event. You know what I mean? This is a main event of when you have two nighters. And also too, it's entertaining. It is a little gimmicky, too much for me to have any more than a B, but still entertaining. I'm down with something different on the card, but as far as a main event of Mania, it's a B.
This might be controversial. I hate all this pre-tape shit. This is F. I fucking can't stand
Oh,
this.
damn. I thought I was
can't-
being mean. He's the mean one.
I can't stand these fucking pre-tape stupid ass fucking matches. The Firefly matches, the fucking all this the John Cena NWO whatever the fuck him and the Firefly. I fucking hate all of this shit. I hate everything about pre-tape matches like this. Like they just suck. Like I don't like the AEW ones either. Like I hate all these fucking things. They just feel it feels like a fucking movie or a TV show. It feels like something I should be watching on Netflix, like for WrestleMania. Like I don't like this shit.
Which you can. The Undertaker and the New Day.
I know the New Day, but yeah, hot take, maybe.
Which I played through a couple times.
Even if people consider this the best one, I still don't like this shit. I give it an F. I don't like any of these matches. None of them.
I like that. All different opinions here. Jacob's very high. I'm in the middle-ish, and then you're very low. I like that though. So what's that? A C?
Yeah, we'll put it at the top of the C.
Yeah.
I too can't find myself giving this more than a B, and this is one of my more favorite ones. Like I think this kind of works, but it's not a main event.
Yeah.
Speaking of not a main event, I mean, sure, on paper it sounds like a main event,
Just
but
that shit in the F tier and let's get it over with. Fucking hell, god damn.
Jordan,
I'm gonna say C, based on I think
it's 4 fucking minutes.
I'm gonna say D, based on the fact that I like the outcome. I like him looking in, still D
minutes.
And the outcome is what brings me to the D, is because I like him looking. It's the right move. We built up Drew. I feel bad it wasn't in front of a crowd. I liked him looking into the camera. I also gotta feel that if this wasn't pandemic, this would not have been 4. And I know that's don't know that's necessarily a reason to give it a higher score, but I do think because of I felt good that Drew won the title. I don't want to give it an F. I want to give it at least a D because I feel like that made me feel good. Like, yay, Drew went from a guy that was fired to main eventing a Mania. Good for him.
Okay, I forgot Drew went over. Okay, that's the only thing that skirts it into a D.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But the match is 4 goddamn minutes. It's finisher, finish.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I hate those matches.
Especially at a Mania.
That's every Goldberg match of the last 5 years. It's every Brock Lesnar match of the last 5 years. It's so boring. Like it's so stupid. Like it was shocking and fun when Goldberg beat him in a minute and a half. You know what I mean? Like it was interesting. But I feel like they've been doing that formula forever now. Like it's so tiring. So okay, I forgot Drew went over on this one, so you get D minus. You get a D minus.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The moment brings it up to a D. It's cool. It was cool to see Drew win the title, and then it was really like I don't know what they were thinking. Like maybe Drew was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be tired after I beat Brock in 4 minutes, so why don't you like bring up the Big Show as well, and then we can have a match that'll air the next night on Raw."
Well, that's not true. That's just a matter of taping and pandemic. Like, let's get that shot now because we need it anyway.
And well, no, that's how they announced it as. It was like after Mania went off the air, like this is what happened.
Oh, did they see? I don't remember that. Never mind.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that's how it went down, but it was just weird. I thought it was a weird booking decision. Like they would never have done that if it was live in a stadium.
Well, no, but I'm saying this was at the moment where, like, if they're there in the building, get it shot now so that we're not risking it another night. Like, if they're here, let's do it.
But like, you can see like the WrestleMania set still, and it was like if it was taped for Raw, then yeah, like if the Raw set was there, then definitely not weird at all. But that Brock Lesnar. And we only have one more Brock Lesnar match to talk about, guys. Don't worry. I'm curious to see where this one goes. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. WrestleMania 37, night 1 for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Austin, we'll start with you on this one.
I forgot about both these matches. I had to go back and watch them. I completely forgot about this whole WrestleMania because I think I watched it like 3 days later or something. I didn't even watch it like close to live. I just was like, I'll get to it when I get it, because at least they had the crowd back. You know what I mean? Like they were back in front of a live crowd. They weren't doing that pre-tape shit like. So yeah, and the 2 night thing in front of a live crowd, I was curious as to how it would work, and yeah, I'd forgotten this was the main event of the first night. It's a pretty damn good match. Like pretty much it is. It's you know I think it's a really good match. I don't think it's like on the level of some of the stuff we have in the A tier, so I go like a B plus. But I think they did a pretty damn good job. So it's entertaining, and I think both of them have had better matches here and there, but it's pretty good. So I'll give it like a B plus. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really good main event. This is probably one of my like two favorite women's matches. I go back between this one and then the triple threat between um Charlotte, Lynch, and Banks from was it 33, 32? Whatever the one where they
I get lost once they get into the 30s. I get
yeah,
lost.
it was the one they ditched the Divas title and brought back the women's championship. It was that match. I go back between those two. This was a really good main event. I was surprised when they said this was going to be the main event, but I think they delivered. I think they showed that they deserved that spot, even though it was sure it was only night one, but they were that they were the final match you saw on night one, and I think they delivered. I'd actually go a low A for this one. Jordan?
I'd say high. I'm with high B as well. It's good stuff here, man. I'm another one that I think actually not necessarily on paper for me was the main event, but they both kind of took it home pretty well. So yeah, high B for me. Good one.
All right. The night two main event saw another triple threat, but this time Daniel Bryan and Edge challenging Roman Reigns. This was, I believe, 11 or 12 years to the day that Edge was forced to retire the first time, April 11th, which was also my birthday. No big deal. I thought this was a solid main event. Again, I think all the triple threat main events have delivered, and I think this one is no exception. I'm not quite like on the A tier for this one, but it's B because I was entertained. I really wanted them to give it to Edge, but this was before, like, of course, this was like before Roman was, 900 days. You really wanted to see how far the reign would go. I would have been fine with Edge or Bryan winning and taking the title off Roman, but that's just personal bias, probably. But yeah, no, the match was good. It was decent. I'll watch it and I'll be entertained. So high B. Jordan.
I like the review. I'll watch it.
that's kind of that's like my B tier.
Yeah, no,
I'll watch it.
And I'm pretty much with you, man. I'd say mid to low B for me here, just because I don't know. Maybe because again, I just didn't really have faith that Edge or Bryan would kind of take it from him. It felt a little more predictable in that sense, but still, yeah, like solid. Like I said, I don't know how invested I was to a large degree, but I thought it was solid. So B, low B.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll be on the outlier of that. I'd give it like an A minus. Thought it was pretty damn good for a triple threat. It was nonstop. Daniel Bryan being in it definitely elevated it for me. I think if it had just been Edge and Roman Reigns, I would have been as enthusiastic. Having Bryan in there was better. Yeah, it's pretty good. I give it an A minus. So maybe I'll be the one outlier. But let's begin to be
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. We got two more from the most recent WrestleMania. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin in his first match back in 19 years. I'm pretty sure they kept saying it was his first WrestleMania, and I'm like, he's appeared at like 3 or 4 since 19. So let's get our facts right. But yeah, no, his first match in 19 years. Jordan, What are your thoughts on this one?
You know what, man? I'm leaning towards an A for this. I think the build-up was good. A little weird because again, I was like, all right, is it a match? Is it not a match? Okay, it's just gonna be like maybe a quick fight. But then that promo before it, you're so psyched when it's like, oh shit, it's a ref. Oh shit, the bell's ringing. And kind of like Sting, they just kind of worked a smart match where, you know what I mean, Austin did what he could. He took a couple bumps. It worked. It was fun seeing a man who was the number one guy for a long time and since the year 2003, nearly 20 years. Excuse me, 20 years ago, we thought we would never see this man wrestle again. So everything about it has kind of worked for me. Again, I don't know if it was one night. I don't think this would have been your main event. This is another good example of a main event of a two-parter. But I dug it.
Austin?
It's really fun. It's really entertaining. Two big personalities. It's about the best match we could possibly get from Stone Cold Steve Austin at 50 years old because it's just mainly a brawl. It's like what he does best. He's brawling around the crowd, ringside, whatever. I cannot put it on the same level as Rock and Austin from WrestleMania 15. You're out of your goddamn mind. So it's a B tier. I cannot do that as Rock and Shawn Michaels big when
but Jacob can.
When it could work, like I just can't. I can't do that. Like some of those other matches that are just better, technically speaking, and star power. It's just it's an
and they'll be higher on the A tier.
I know it's an over.
No, it's fine. I feel
elaborated brawl. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
It's really fun. It's entertaining. It's Austin still feels like he's got it, but he ain't even really having a match.
When he fights LA Knight this year, it's gonna be great.
God. So yeah, I'll go B. It's fun.
Yeah. Need an opponent. Yeah. Oh shit! Hell yeah.
I'm going A.
Oh come on!
I really like this. The fact that Austin is taking
I think you got to put in the moment too. Yeah.
Yeah. I just read recently that.
But in all those other matches, the moments and the work rate are good in the ring. That's the difference, guys.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, like you said, you have to take into account that Austin hasn't wrestled in 19 years, and he's like 50 years old.
It's not wrestling. He's brawling.
Hey,
he bumps. He bumps.
He bumps outside the ring. They get back in the ring, hits a stunner, it's over.
Yeah. The only thing that my only like nitpick with the match is that Austin doesn't actually do the Thez press. I really missed that in the match.
Probably could.
I just read somewhere recently that Austin was saying that he hadn't like thrown punches in 19 years, so some of them were probably a little stiff, and he was like saying that he was talking with Owens backstage and was like, yeah, I'm a little shocked that you didn't give me your receipt for any of those. So he was really speaking to
receipt. Yeah.
He was really speaking to like how good of a heart Owens has and how glad he was to work with him, because I guess he kept denying the match, and every time they talked about it, Owens was involved. He was talking about like just how much respect he has for Owens, and it was really cool. But yeah, I'm not gonna put it above anything in the A tier.
Yeah, I'm fine with keeping it at the end.
But it's I really enjoy it. And I definitely enjoy it a lot more than the main event we got for night 2, which is another Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match, this time to unify the titles. Austin, what are your thoughts on this one?
It's got fun moments. The stuff with the tractor is fun. I mean, there's some decent little shenanigans here and there. Some good weapons moments, things like that. But yeah, there's too much shenanigans. It never really hits that next gear. It's kind of predictable. We all kind of knew Roman wasn't dropping the title anytime soon. It's better than that other match they had. So for that, I'll give it a little bit, but I'll go C tier. It's not the worst, but it's like it's not amazing either. You know what I mean? It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not as bad. It's not as bad because I do like the dynamic is switched in this one where Roman's the heel and Lesnar's more the face. I I think switching that works, and I guess you could kind of argue that when Brock was a heel and Roman was a face, though, it's just based on crowd reaction. But Roman was truly a heel this time. So I think the dynamic worked. It's fine.
Mhm.
I didn't hate that I had to watch it. So, my thinking is, would I go back to that before anything in that D tier? Probably. So I'll go C, like low C.
Yeah.
Jordan.
I'm 100% with you guys on this. Yeah, it's a C. It does have moments where I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? They're doing something. It does entertain me to a degree, but then there's other moments where I'm like, again, I'm just kind of over these guys. It's a little predictable. Like, and especially before it even happened, I was like, I don't want this. This is my main event, man. Come on. So it definitely surpassed expectations in a way, but not too much more than saying it's a C.
All right. Now comes the final pun part, Jacob. Scrolling on up because we can't have any ties here because we've only got 3 people. So
No. And here's my
we can go
opinion.
to the chat. I swear.
well, I'll go to the votes for one thing. For one thing, I'll go to the votes. Okay. So Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle had 1A, so it stays at the bottom. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
even if JPO, who wasn't here for that, gave it an S, it still had an A vote. So it stays at the bottom.
Well, I was the
Now-
A for that.
Yeah, he
you were,
came
okay.
for 17.
That's right.
He started at
That's right.
17.
I thought you came a little. Okay.
I've been here for all the S's.
Okay, so because of your A, that one stays at number 4, right? So now we vote on.
Before we do that, though,
yeah.
Before we do that, though, I don't like that there's only a top 4. Let's do a top 5. You and I already gave those two an S. Jordan, between the triple threat at 30 and Edge and Undertaker, which one would you put at number 5?
Edge and Taker.
Okay.
All right.
So Edge and Taker will be number 5.
Okay. Now we have a top 5. Yeah.
There.
Okay. So sort of. We still got to rank these.
Right.
So, all right. So we'll throw it out there. What would be everybody's number 1 out of those 3? JPO. What would you vote for number 1?
Career versus streak.
Oh, really? Okay. I would go triple threat.
And Jacob's gonna go Austin Rock. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Really?
I'd go career versus
Really?
streak.
Yeah, man.
Wow. That's surprising.
Austin Rock would be my second.
Well, we'll go around and vote for the one behind that. Then I mean, I guess you know my vote, but what would you guys vote for since you guys didn't vote for that? So JPO, Rocket Austin, or Triple Threat?
I'll agree. I'll say Rock and Austin.
Okay.
Okay, so so it stays the way it is. Okay, so there you go. I just wanted to do a formality there, but interesting. Okay,
I don't think that's a bad top 5 at all. I love that top 5.
Now let's do a top 10. What's number 6?
Well, number 6 would be the only other one that got an S tier vote.
Yeah, basically. Everything else was like.
What's number 7?
I almost go Cena, Shawn Michaels, almost, or Hogan, Savage, something like that. But I don't know. I can't rank the A tier. They're all kind of like for me. It is what it is.
Honestly, I might go Hogan, Savage. I think they told a good story.
Yeah.
All right, number 8.
Then I like Rock and Austin for 15. It's pretty damn good. I said Cena Michaels is good.
I'd probably go Cena Michaels 8.
Put Cena Michaels up there.
Yeah.
And then you want to keep that at 9?
Which one?
It's Hogan. I'm sorry, no. Oh, never mind. I'd say Austin and Rock 9.
Yeah.
I could go Austin Rock at 9.
And then what's number 10?
I could actually go Hogan Warrior 10 because I think the spectacle of it and
I agree. I actually would have thrown an S in
that too.
To be honest with you, if I was here, I would have thrown an S in.
I can't go S because Warrior's blown up for half the match. But
I don't know. As a kid, man, I ran into this all the time.
Sure,
I didn't give a shit.
Well, that's why I said it was a high A for me because
right. No, for sure.
Good. I just don't think I could ever put any Warrior match in the S tier, honestly.
I don't know. For it's like the world, the IC, that cover, the match, the crowd's hot. Like, this is one of those Hogan matches as a kid I never noticed was like kind of
Yeah.
Borderline, but it works when you're young. I don't know.
Yeah, and everything else is pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, top 10 4 honorable mentions.
Yeah. All right, and the poll will be up tomorrow. Showing up friends and family.
You know what? I might do a poll.
You could if you want to. Sure.
Yeah, no, I like the top 10. I think it's very solid.
Yeah.
But are they our favorite WrestleMania matches overall? We can kind of talk about those next week when we do our WrestleMania.
My number one
cards.
is
some of them, but there's definitely other ones that are like my personal favorites for sure. So
Yeah, so what we'll be doing next week is we'll do those WrestleMania dream cards that we've done for these big events in the past, where our opening match has to be an opening match, our main event has to be a main event, but everything in between can come from anywhere on the card. You can only use one championship once. You can only use a wrestler once. You can only use one
an event once.
one event once. So a lot of restrictions in place. It's a lot of fun to come up with these. So we'll be doing that next week, as well as our predictions for the 2-night event. Jordan, you showed up late, but you showed up. Thank you. You got anything going on in the future?
yes, you can catch
Okay,
me.
cool. Oh, go ahead. What is it that you have planned in the future?
I would say on here with some great people every Thursday, but on here with 2/3 of great people every Thursday. Figure out who's not the great one. No, yeah, always having fun on here. It's Mania season, so looking forward to some more Mania talk in the next couple of weeks. The Periscope, movie trivia, countdowns, stuff like that. Pierce wrestling trivia, interviews. Just had one with Noah Vale. That was a fun interview. That's all I got. Other stuff, tournament fights, other stuff on the show.
Austin?
You can find me doing shows every damn night as usual. So I'm somewhere on the internet every night. I'm sure Jacob will plug what we're doing tomorrow night. I'll be on the Battleground Casual show tomorrow night because Aaron wants me on because I have a match going up that went up tonight with me and Henry Sanchez that you can check out for number one contender. Really worth your time. Just watch it. Yeah, you'll find out why. That one's good. I'll be on Scene and Her Trivia on Sunday night. JPO will be on our superhero draft for Patreon Monday night with me, Jordan, and Moose Haas, and him. He'll be the fourth for us that night. And that's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing 20 draft picks, 12 heroes, 8 villains. Can't repeat the same hero, can't repeat the same actor. So that should be really fun. So 20 picks. We'll see where everybody goes on that. Plenty to choose from. And then, other than that, just same stuff here on the Movie Hero Network.
Yeah, and then as he alluded to, Austin and I will be going live sometime on Saturday to talk about the Sean Connery Bond movies. I'm kind of doing a dive into them because I haven't seen them, and figured it's about time.
You can find me rewatching From Russia with Love and Goldfinger in the next 2 days to catch up a little bit. So yeah,
yeah, I need to catch up on some. I've been busy watching WrestleMania main events instead.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna do one after work tomorrow and another one after work the other day. So yeah, I'm gonna cram my last two the next day, and then switch to a couple of animated movies before our tier ranker on.
I have to.
I need to rewatch Brave Little Toaster and watch Akira for the first time, and maybe get one or two other ones. We'll see. So yeah.
That's gonna be a lot of fun.
At least those two, if not maybe one more. We'll see. Those are my two.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm having fun putting the tier ranker chart together.
It's a good thing we texted back and forth the other night because you missed a few, didn't you?
I did. I don't know how, because I definitely remember putting them on the list. I guess I thought I put them on the list.
Hey, at least you caught them with plenty of time.
Speaking of tier rankers, I wouldn't mind another wrestling one. I like this.
Yeah,
we could find another subject to do for sure. We could do, either like we could take a year and rank all the pay-per-views of that year, or we could take, some other matches or whatever, some kind of match listing. Take a group of superstars, whatever. We could do anything really.
Yeah, I've got some ideas. We can talk about it.
We can bounce between like tier rankers and drafts and other things, and retro shows. We can kind of bounce around maybe do one week, one another, kind of rotate them, in and out. So yeah,
Yeah,
that way
yeah.
we don't get burned out on doing drafts every week. We don't want to do a draft every week. As much fun as they are, doing one every week is can get repetitive, and so we can bounce between doing a tier, then doing like a draft and a retro show, and then a current pay per view and whatever.
Chris Cass was doing a 12-hour stream today, and I cheated on you guys and did a draft on his stream. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you got to fill the content when you're doing a marathon.
Let me back in. I'm so sorry I cheated on you with drafts.
Okay, you can stay. But no, yeah, this was a lot of fun. Look forward to doing more of these in the future. Look forward to next week where we will be doing our dream cards and predictions, and hopefully,
Fingers crossed they have all the matches announced. So
yeah,
by then,
watch them do the Andre Battle Royal on SmackDown again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say probably based on the fact that like they're doing those tag team showcases. That feels like the bonus. Like, let's get a shit ton of people in here, match. There's enough though, probably for a battle royal because you still got a lot of mid card like singles guys that ain't doing shit.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do with that. But yeah, again, this was a lot of fun. Look forward to next week. So if you're watching, thank you. If you're watching on the replay, also thank you. Make sure to leave a comment. What's your favorite WrestleMania main event? Do you agree with our choices? What would you have? If you have any disagreements, let us know respectfully. So for Jordan, for Austin, I'm Jacob. This has been a lot of fun. We will catch you
Screw you,
next
Richie.
week.
You don't get a plug.